Hey, we are here with Crow Inquisitors. It has been a while since I've been able to say that. We have returned to the first campaign we ever started on stream here. Except for but tonight we danced, but that doesn't really count. That was just David and I.
And just a quick note about that, actually. The last time we did Crow Inquisitors was over 5 years ago.
Over 5 years ago. Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we've done a lot of shows since then. But we are back. We got Connor, David, Jared, and Adam returning as their characters, and we're very excited to once again return to the world of Serragon to do some crowing and inquisiting. And crowing is technically a verb. It means to like complain.
I'm done.
So,
See you guys.
which I'm sure Jared will be doing plenty of when I tell him he can't roll certain things. He's already done so. And so this is season 4 of Crow Inquisitors, season premiere. We are returning to Lucerta, the city who's like the kind of like religious capital of the country. If you need to know what is going on and what the show even is, since it's been 5 years, I did post a recap video on the channel on YouTube. So go ahead and check that out. Don't feel like you have to watch this if you have no idea what's happening. Go back or watch that recap video, and then you can watch this when it drops on YouTube. But we're gonna just go ahead and jump right into it because all these people have been recapped enough to start. So we'll just jump right into it and do beliefs and instincts and the normal stuff we would do starting a Burning Wheel show here. And that should give us some sense of what the characters are doing right now and what they're caring about. And then we're gonna jump right into the game. So let's do that real quick. Cantarius, and if you want to make, as we go here, let's make a note of which traits were voted on and off, if we can remember, because we didn't do that on stream either.
There were so many.
I know there's so many, but like at least anything we can remember, just quickly list them off. So, Cantarius, what are your beliefs, instincts, and traits?
My beliefs are the demon is here in Lucerta and must be stopped. I will start by finding them, but I guess I will start by finding the cult. Belief 2, this world is more than blood and gold. I will increase my skill in the intellectual discipline. Belief 3, Dellon has risen to a high place of power, but he still might be my friend. I will reconnect with him. And belief 2 is actually a reference to the last episode of season 3 for our hardcore fans out there.
Yep.
The conversation that Cantarius had with Caspian.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Instincts are always look for demon bonds, always redeem those who repent, never let relentless evil roam free.
Never let relentless emos roam free. We've actually made that joke before on Crow Inquisitors.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Really? Never what?
Never let relentless emos roam free. That's what it sounded like you were going to say.
How would we do that joke? There's no way.
Because Connor misspoke again in the past with that.
Dang it.
It's funny.
Okay, so then traits are intimidating, weight of the world, authoritative, foreign blood, gifted for the sensory discipline, ear for voices, iron will, dreamer, second sight, tenacious, feared, dreadful, driven, aura of determination, and scavenger.
Yeah, we did a lot of
affinity for demons. We voted on.
Yeah, we should add that on.
And that's a die trait, technically speaking.
I'm adding it right now.
Okay, and then are we going through relationships or anything else like that?
No, we'll just do bits, belief, instincts, and traits.
Okay.
Yeah. So we
I get
voted
affinity
off
for humans, and then I get dice and I kill them.
Well, as a reminder, he just has the plus. Oh, I guess you'd ask for +1 die on sword.
Yeah.
Affinity for war might be a good trait for you.
That would be sick.
That would be sick.
I got enough traits.
I feel we gave Cantarius and Theo more traits than
true,
Dellon and Alfons,
but
I think that's okay because Dellon and Alfons have the gray shades. So
that's true. That's fair. Fair.
Cantarius and Theo need a little bit of help.
Do they? I mean, I understand it's fair. I don't know if they need help.
Let's be real. Connor needs help.
Yeah.
Well, he shouldn't need help. He has plenty of dice.
Yeah. But it's Connor.
No, the difference is the gray shades. I think you guys have more dice than we do either way, but the gray shades are significant.
Yeah, for sure. I was kidding.
Deterrence and okay.
Yeah.
What I was saying was that I understand why that's fair, but I don't agree that you need help. Because we're all pretty
you can roll
overpowered.
10 dice and get one
Gotcha.
Yeah.
success.
So yeah, just a couple notes about the traits we voted on and off. Cantarius voted off haughty, religious, and I think just those, haughty and religious, and one gluttonous. It's possible you didn't have that before, but at least all the cultural traits are gone. You still have foreign blood though, obviously. Technically, we also need gifted for intellectual discipline and gifted for physical discipline on here too, but I can add those later. And then we added, ear for voices, iron will, dreamer, second sight, tenacious, feared, affinity for demons, aura of determination, and scavenger, to kind of fill in Cantarius's strengths. And then Dellon, what you got?
I've got. My beliefs are Alfons has been training with our old sword master. I will test his skills and see if he is capable of defending himself. The new king is an ambitious man who wishes to restart this war. I still have to figure out what I'm going to do about that.
I will determine if his reason.
Yes. Oh, wow. That's how it's spelled. I was going to say justified.
I know. I just thought it was funny.
Maria is working to turn this country against the reigniting the war. I will sway the official. She will sway the official. She is designated.
Yep.
And then I have the Holy Knight belief, which is on my blade in my life, I shall hold the enemies of God at bay. I just have to figure out what.
Yeah, whenever that comes up as something you can fill in a second part. Yeah.
Because we're not at war anymore. So technically.
Yep.
Instincts
don't worry,
never go unarmed.
there are still enemies of God.
Yep, sure. Maybe I can talk about the cult here because I think you said there's going to be one of those.
Oh yeah. As soon as Dellon learns about that, I'm sure we can fill it in.
Right.
Yep.
And my instincts are never go unarmed under any circumstances. Do whatever it takes to win when something more important than myself is at stake, and never leave a word against the holy God unchallenged. I have disciplined, haughty, religious, early riser, and prominent scar as character traits. My die traits are faithful, mark of privilege, tonsured, fearless, believer, gifted for the potential discipline, sworn to the order, and commanding aura. I've forgotten what it does already.
Gives you +1 to command, and everyone around you can make steal tests. You can help. You can help those people make steal tests, so you can add your dice to their rolls.
Cool. And then I have nimble for call on trait, which is new.
Yeah.
We're not doing relationships, right?
No, we're not. Yeah.
Okay.
As one note for you guys, I did actually add a few relationships to each of your sheets for
people that
people that it makes no sense for you not to have a relationship with at this point through the years that you've been with them. Right. So for you, example, Dellon, you have obviously your wife and your son and Sergio and your sister, but also Averio, who's like this is the guy who I decided the guy you circles up for your training is this guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. But he's a character. He's the character from the bonus episode too, right? The one that Sergio is Sergio's friend.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
So,
cool. He's like the weird, quirky guy, right?
No, not Roriano.
Okay.
He's. We'll get into it. We'll introduce him.
Okay.
But yeah, so Dellon got early riser and prominent scar. For character traits for the trait vote, mainly for being at war. I figured that would probably be the case. And then he got sworn to the order, so he has knight duties, and then commanding aura for leading armies or at least holy knight squads into battle. And then nimble for being an awesome swordsman. All right, and then Alfons.
Alrighty. Oh. This is what I've been training for. I will test myself against Dellon. My search for the Harbingers has led me back to Lucerta, but I need more information. I will find Giolina and convince her to help. This demon has eluded me for too long. I must find a clue as to where to look next.
Nice.
Instincts. Always find a reason to use my powers, always try to surpass Dellon, and always do what I can to protect Yuma. Traits are rabble-rouse or haughty. It just might work. Confident. Mark of privilege. Gifted, tall tale teller, rapier wit, familiar face, charismatic, and fleet of foot.
Nice. And we voted off like religious and gluttonous. Oh, I forgot to add. You also have licentious.
horny, you mean?
Yep. Pretty
Yeah.
much. And we voted on It Just Might Work, which I love that trait. It's such a Jared trait. I'm so glad that we voted that one on. Confident and licentious as character traits, and then we gave you Familiar Face for. I mean, Alfons is the person who's made the most circles rolls in this campaign to find random people to help him. And then Charismatic, because of course Alfons needs a call on trait for Persuasion. And then Fleet of Foot, because besides Persuasion, the thing he rolled the most in this campaign has been Speed to run
I started
away.
with 1 speed, and now I have 6.
Literally.
That's funny.
Just from rolling the and it's like not even like most of the time in Burning Wheel we were playing it wrong originally, right? And we didn't use being learned tests that are difficult or challenging go on the stat instead of like a bubble for the skill.
Oh, right. Yeah.
We never did that, and he still just
got it.
from rolling plain speed tests got that many
That's
tests.
funny.
My stats would be so good.
Well, to be fair, I don't know
had
that
been
there's that
doing
many being learned skills from speed, is there?
There aren't. There's like 4.
Yeah, so if you even have any of them, there probably weren't many.
It's like dance, stealthy.
Yeah.
A couple others. Climbing.
That's
All right.
surprising.
And then
I actually would have thought climbing would have been a strength.
well,
thing.
because climbing
power.
has to do with remember like speed is like feet and
Right.
agility is like your hand-eye coordination basically.
Yeah,
and
so,
so
it would either be
climbing-
both of those or just power.
It
because
would
you
be
have to
both
hold
of those,
yourself.
but I guess they were like, we don't have enough speed
Well, that's
related skills.
probably
We'll
true.
just throw it out there.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, we got Theo.
All right, my beliefs are: I must transcend to godhood. I will work towards increasing my faith, which has been the same pretty much the whole campaign. My new patron has offered me power. I will work to return him to the physical realm. Belief number 3: there are no gods, only demons. I will find a way to kill those who wronged me. Instincts: never give up a chance at power. Always trust Cantarius. And never heed danger, which those are also the same. Do I read the die traits too? That's what you're
Yeah, we'll read all the traits. Just we
Okay,
didn't
Just
necessarily have to read
real
them every
quick,
time.
who
but-
are you increasing your faith in if the gods don't exist? I'm just curious.
I think it's a figure of speech, not like they don't.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. All the gods that Theo doesn't like are demons.
Right. Okay, of course, yeah.
Right.
And like to be fair, we don't actually know what kind of entity this new patron of his is. It could be a god, could be a demon, could be an angel, could be capital G God. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we do know because it's you, but yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a demon, but I think Theo knows that, and he's like, whatever. As long as I can, I don't care. As long as I can kill. As long as he kills the other gods, I don't know. Okay,
You want to
traits.
use the ring against Mordor? You want to use the ring against Mordor? Yeah.
Yeah. There was only one Lord of the Ring. He does not share power. That's good.
Oh, so good. Sorry.
Traits: attractive, empathetic, light blonde hair, just like me. No, I'm just kidding. Appreciation for beauty. Die traits: rapier wit, life is death, faith in dead gods, glory hound, fearless, apostate, Spartacus, and Faust. And then call out traits: driven and show no fear.
We need to decide. Did we ever decide what your driven skill is?
We assumed it was going to be Trident, right?
I was going to say it needs to be based on one of your beliefs, right? So, is it working towards your faith, returning your patron to the spiritual realm, or killing? Is it killing the gods and it's Trident?
Can I enchant this Trident to be a god-killing device?
That's technically a possibility with demon magic. Yes.
Ooh, okay, yeah. I'll do that. I'll do the killing the gods.
Okay, sounds good. We'll make it be Trident then. So basically, whenever you are working towards that goal, it doesn't necessarily have to be killing the gods with it, but as long as you're working towards that goal and are using your Trident, it's a call on, so you can reroll your failed dice with it. So on a 1 test per session.
So if I was just fighting demons, then I'm still looking for power.
If it's part of that quest to do that, then as long as that's the case, then you can use it as a call on. So we voted off a couple of traits, but I don't remember which ones.
There was only
we evolved determined into driven. That's one thing.
Right.
And I think there was one other.
like religious or something.
No, you didn't have religious because you were a different culture than the others. I don't remember what else we voted off, but we did vote on appreciation for beauty, because that definitely seems like a thing that Theo has. We voted on, we changed faith from faith into faith in dead gods. We gave you apostate because you've like left 2 different religions now. Spartacus because Theo's always been a man of the people. Faust because most of the campaign you've been bargaining with higher powers for something pure and innocent like love. Getting your wife back.
Yeah. Right now it's kind of like justice. He's
Justice
not doing it for like, oh, I want to be power. He's like, I want the power so he could deal justice because.
And I would say, depending on what happens in this season, we might just vote that one off again. But like at the very least, it was still true about Theo when we voted this on.
Yeah.
And then you also got show no fear because Theo's been all about that steal.
It's gladiator. That's what he does.
Exactly. All right, let's jump into it. So I think we open with a shot of Lucerta. And it is probably the morning, but not like too early that people wouldn't come out en masse to see the speech that the coronation of the new king. I suppose this would be happening in like the big church, right? So this wouldn't be a bunch of common people necessarily, though. What's probably happening here is kind of like the medieval Roman Catholic Church, right? Where like there's this big cathedral in the temple district of the city, right? And that's where the coronation is happening. And Sergio is going to be the one to coronate him and stuff, right? Obviously, because that's what happens. But most of the people in the cathedral are going to be like nobles and other important like VIPs that would be invited to something like this. But then the doors of the chapel, like the cathedral, are open. And there's a massive of like normal citizens outside the cathedral trying to get any sense of what's happening because this is like a big event. So I think first we see King Valerius Rawl, I think his last name is. What did I say his last name was? Yeah, Valerio Rawl, the king of Ceran. So we see him. And he is played by Timothy Chalamet.
Nice.
Yeah, we see a young. He's 25. So still on the young side. And he is standing up at the center of like on the back of this cathedral. And he is wearing the robes of office, right? So we see this like really exaggerated getup of the long fur cloak and all the rest of the he has like the scepter and the little orb with like the cross or whatever I guess it would be an incomplete circle ringlet, I think, in the other hand, as like kind of his symbols of office. And he is standing there, and I think the ritual is probably just getting underway. So I'm trying to. I don't know exactly what the order of operations would be here on a medieval coronation.
It's probably a long sermon or something.
Oh yeah, that's probably what it is. Okay, so he's standing there listening to the sermon, and I don't think it's Sergio giving the sermon.
Can I do it?
Do you want to do it?
I don't know.
You don't have the preaching skill.
Is it different than suasion?
Yeah, suasion is like persuasion for the clergy.
Right, well, then never mind.
Religious diatribe or preaching would be the skill for that.
Then never mind.
Ritual might also work.
Didn't have that I have oratory, but
I'm thinking it's just like
never mind. Scratch that.
Some other bishop. Let's say it's Bishop Nico Ard. And Nico is the son of the guy you killed, Dellon.
Okay, good, great.
But in the first season, he's not your biggest fan. But he's still a member of the church, and he can't really do anything to you necessarily, right?
Right.
And this is what he looks like. This is Nico. He's also on the young side. Played by Alex Pettifer. I think that's how you pronounce that. So we'll say that he's giving it, and I haven't made a character sheet for him, but now I at least know he has religious diatribe and or preaching and or ritual. But we'll say he's giving it. I just feel like Sergio's in a mind space right now that he just wouldn't want to do this. He's probably still like we see him there, obviously up on the dais. But he seems like really miffed about this whole thing, right? Because like he knows the king is gonna like make a speech about like moving the capital to Lucerta because this conversation has already happened behind closed doors, but he's like about to make the official announcement to like the people and the gathered nobles. And so we see Sergio standing probably next to you and like Averio. And Averio, who is like probably the most important holy knight in the kingdom besides you, Dellon. He is played by Christian Bale.
Is this Ian McGregor in this thing?
Oh yeah, he used to. Okay, so man, I was hoping I could just get away with just changing this and never talking about it again. So we had him played by Ewan McGregor in the original campaign, but I realized that technically, since this is part of the like connected universe, Ewan McGregor is Xanatos, is my Hellbreaker character, and so I thought for just a moment about making this guy Xanatos secretly, but I was like, that doesn't make any sense. So I changed
what's his nose training shark blades.
Exactly, it doesn't make any sense. So I changed his actor to Christian Bale. This guy's played by Christian Bale. He has like a soft presence to him, like a very kindly presence to him. And he's standing there next to you, Dellon, and whoever else church-wise is important up on the dais. We don't need to list everybody else off necessarily, but
yes, church-wise, that's what you're saying.
yes.
Just kidding.
So we see Sergio miffed, right? And we probably see you and Averio give each other a meaningful glance as you watch Sergio stew up on the dais here, right? But I think, we see Dellon. How has Dellon changed? What's his like description now? What do we see from Dellon up on the dais here as Nico is giving his sermon about the unity of Serragon?
I think he looks pretty similar. Sorry, I don't know if I lied out there for a second, but he looks pretty similar, except that he probably has slightly nicer. Actually, his armor's probably not nicer. It's probably been used pretty heavily. So I think, we see like it's obviously been tended to, but you can only do so much about like gashes in the metal and stuff without like reforging it.
Yep.
And he probably has like I don't know if there's a color that would be appropriate, but maybe like a red fabric that's like pinned to the armor so that it kind of covers some of that for the ceremonial thing.
I know that there's like a sash system of like for each of the different offices.
Oh,
and
I thought you meant in this game, and I was like, are you kidding?
No.
Okay.
Like I know like nuns and monks have like a brown sash, and Inquisitors have like a black sash or something. I don't remember.
Are the Inquisitors a thing anymore?
Yes. So the Inquisition is still a thing. They are focused on weeding out corruption within the church. So like bishops taking money they shouldn't and stuff like that instead of rooting out heresy. So
all right, well then he'll have a red one if it's not being used already.
Sure, yeah. I think it's probably fine. Yeah.
Okay. And then he also has.
If not, we can just say that Sergio changed the color system for some reason.
Right. Yeah. He also has, I think, a couple of small nicks on his face that have scarred over, but then he also has one that I think like it starts on his like shoulder, so you can see it obviously, but then it travels down toward under where his clothing covers. But it looks like a much larger because it says it's prominent, so I assume you have to be able to see it. So it's still obvious when he's wearing clothing, but it travels down his chest presumably. And otherwise he still has, I don't know. Do I have quality weapons at all? I can't remember.
You don't anymore.
Quality?
You'll have to.
I gave it away, didn't I?
Yeah, Alfons has your superior quality sword. So you'd have to make a resource roll to buy a new one.
Yeah, and I didn't have superior quality armor, right?
No.
I just took it off a dead guy. Actually,
we may have assumed that like Dellon at some point got another superior quality sword because it has been 3 years, but at the very least it broke in war or something, right? Like so, right now you don't have access to this anymore. So
okay.
If you want to get another one, you'll have to go buy some.
So yeah, there's nothing super special about his equipment then, other than it being plate armor, which I guess is expensive to begin with.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he's still tonsured, so he's got like his, he's bald, and he's got like his half ring blue tattoo.
It's like a 5/6 of a ring. The half ring was
Right.
like the cult symbol.
That's right. Yeah,
They like
the partial
it's
ring.
Like,
I guess
it's like the
is what I
upside
meant.
down cross, basically,
Yeah.
for them, right? Yeah,
You're right. Yeah.
it's like an almost complete circle.
And he's played by oh wow, the name Vin Diesel. Thank you for writing it down. Yeah. And he's twins with Alfons, who is played by somebody else, so that makes sense. And then yeah, that's what he looks like. I think he's got kind of like he's probably also kind of out of it, sort of the way Sergio is, just because he's not really sure if any of this is good or not yet. But yeah.
Averio just probably looks concerned about the two of you then.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's definitely not as deep as Sergio's consternation, probably, but he just is like, I don't know about this.
Fair enough. Cool. And so from there, we kind of pan out into the crowd. So the question would be, Alfons, let's start with you, Alfons. Where would you have ended up in this crowd? Would you have tried to get in the cathedral itself? You probably could have made that happen. Cantarius and Theo probably are outside.
Yeah.
But that's no issue because Cantarius has the sensory discipline.
Yeah, he probably made his way inside.
Yeah. And I think you have an ability affiliation, so I think you're okay.
Yeah.
Getting in there. Cool. So where do we actually see you in the cathedral? And then it would be you and Yuma are there. And what do we see from that?
We're probably in like off to the side a little bit in the what's the word, kind of like a side, like not a side room per se, but
a side box.
Yeah,
because there's like probably multiple levels. You're probably up in one of the box seats or whatever. Yeah Cool. Yeah, I mean, Yuma as played by Kaiko Kitagawa. That's her right there. Yuma is standing there on edge, probably, right? She's tense, looking at the crowd, just kind of trying to gauge everybody. And she has
a Holy Knight now?
No. She never became a Holy Knight.
Okay, I couldn't remember what the.
Yeah, she just has a sword.
Okay.
She never had any official title or anything. She was like your slave, and then she became free, and that was it.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Her title is woman.
Pretty much, yeah. A swordswoman, if anything. And then she's standing there next to you with her katana. But like she doesn't have any armor or anything, so she's just like wearing whatever like utilitarian travel clothes that you guys were wearing. So she probably looks out of place unless you guys would have gone to the trouble to like buy some fancy clothes.
I mean, I feel like the sash that he's wearing over his armor is literally just for this occasion because his armor is sitting up.
You. So I was talking about Yuma, not Maria.
Right? Yeah. What I'm saying is that Dellon went out of his way to like gussy up for it, so they might have, that might have been a thing that they would do.
Well, I don't think so. The thing is, I think Alfons and Yuma have just arrived in town, so it's not like Dellon has even talked to them yet.
No,
right?
That makes sense. Never mind.
Mm-hmm. So the question would be like whether or not Alfons and Yuma went shopping before this, or are just showing up in their adventuring clothes.
He still has finery like in a pack somewhere.
Yeah, Alfons has clothes. The question would be
he's wearing your clothes. That's not
awkward. No, they're both wearing like the stereotypical Robin Hood cloaks.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. And you see underneath the same armor from
as Jared's cat attacks him.
He's just too loving. He loves with his claws. But yeah. You see the same armor he wore from the end of the last season he was in, but it's like it's not gold anymore.
Gold
it's like,
armor.
Yeah. But it's like bronze and not shiny anymore.
So it had a bunch of like extraneous spikes all over it. I assume you took those off too. They were purely ornate. They had no function.
Wasn't it like a non-functional piece of?
It was literally a costume. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say like whether it at the very least it's been reforged entirely, right? Like you melted down all the metal and like or just bought entirely.
Probably doesn't do anything,
but it at least doesn't look as flashy. Yeah.
It's basically his like persona.
Yep. Sounds
good.
But
it's in pretty rough shape.
Yep. Sounds good. Yeah, and then anything else we see about Alfons that's different? We scan over to him. He is played by what's the guy's name? Gaspard Uliel. That's him right there.
He's probably a little beard. More chiseled at this point, less of a pretty boy, more of a man.
Mm-hmm. Need a haircut.
It's actually probably a little bit longer because he's been like in the wilderness.
All right, and
he's got a little bit of a beard going
on. Is it about like what it shows on the token there, where you have like the long black hair and the like slight beard, or is like a more of a grizzled beard?
It's not quite grizzled, but more full than that.
Fuller than what's on the token. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like he just came out of the wilderness after a little bit, but not like full on mountain man.
Yeah, of course. Sounds good. Cool. Yeah, and then we pan out of the cathedral and into the crowd of like onlookers outside of the cathedral. And we see Cantarius, Theo, and Antonius. So Antonius, who is played by Christopher Heavejew. So large dude with
I love that guy.
Yeah, red hair, big beard. And he is, I mean, you're all probably wearing like adventuring clothes too, right? Like utilitarian traveling clothes. And so he's standing there. We see like a knife at his belt. And I'm assuming Cantarius that you have like done the sensory discipline to like try to hear what's happening.
Yeah. You want me to roll for it?
Yeah, I think so. Let's engage the magic rules here a little bit. What do we got for this? Disciplines. Sensory. Okay, so you were attempting to
make a difficult sensory discipline roll.
Basically you're making like a perception test. But you're using the sensory discipline in place of it, right?
Okay.
I would say let's make it an Ob 4 test.
Perfect.
Because like Ob 3 would be like your ear for voices tells you like you can roll an Ob 3 test to hear a conversation across a crowded room, but it's a little bit more complicated than that, right? It's hearing a speech from long ways away in a different outside of a building. So, yeah, I'd say Ob 4 sensory discipline test. For these, you can fork in other disciplines if they make sense, and other like sorcery type skills or wises if they're relevant.
Okay, I'm gonna fork in the physical discipline. I'm just going to make my ears bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I'm going
to see Cantarius's biology slightly change.
Yeah. Can I fork in anatomy?
I think I'll allow it. Yeah, it's not quite a wise, but it's almost right.
Yeah. What the heck is that noise?
I let Siegfried fork in anatomy pretty much every time he was doing anything. So,
I think that's it. Unless, do you see an argument for intellectual discipline?
No, probably not. And actually, I'm gonna make it an Ob 5 if you want all three of you to be able to hear. Is it just you hearing and you're going to relay the information to them? Or
yeah, I'll just hear and relay as I'm hearing it. I don't see any reason to. Okay, so what is that? 3 anatomy, physical discipline. Oh, it's just the 2 then, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. Why don't we
go for Ob 5?
Yeah, I might as well. Just to ensure it's a difficult roll still. Yeah. And then you said base Ob 5.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
There you go. Right in the money.
I just upgraded my sensory discipline to 6. So there you go.
Nice. There you go.
Amazing. Cool. Yeah. So Cantarius, Antonius, and Theo, you can all perfectly hear everything that's happening up on the dais when all this is happening. Yeah. So what does Cantarius look like? He's played by Stephen Lang.
Yeah.
Right, so I think he has the gray hair and the beard there.
Yeah, and he looks like Stephen Lang. I mean,
yeah,
he looks like what Stephen Lang's picture looks like in his bio. He's got that shorter of hair and
sort of slicked back a little bit.
Yeah, he hasn't changed much for appearance-wise.
You used the previous picture we had of Stephen Lang on here was like the one where he was playing like a blind man who was like killing people in a house or something, that whatever that movie was. And so he had like kind of crazy hair, like crazy alchemist's hair or something. But so that at least has changed. It looks a little bit more soldier type.
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, and I don't remember how old Cantarius is, but he looks older than
38 now.
Okay, that actually makes sense then. Yeah, he's but like his hair is gray and he's had a stressful life. He looks older.
Yep. Yeah, you look more tough soldier guy now and less crazy inventor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of Cantarius, can I ask what was the? I guess this is probably also for Alfons, because neither of us were with the Inquisitors in season 3. What was the split? I guess the impetus for that, and did we have like do we part on good terms, or how did that go?
Cantarius and Caspian, or Cantarius and Dellon?
Dellon, Alfons, like worked with Theo and Cantarius.
So basically the idea
is, I'm wondering how that split went.
Yeah, the idea was it was it was good. So basically, like you all finished the getting the cult, and killing the Holy Knights and all that stuff. And then you were like, oh crap, what do we do with these guys who we just told, like, we're going to take over the church? And so you basically were like, okay, we did take over the church. Dellon and Alfons are going to stay here and run the church. And you guys are going to go out in the desert and train to be awesome. Okay. And so Cantarius, you needed someone to do that because Dellon was going to lead the Holy Knights. Alfons wanted to go like atone for his sins in the countryside or whatever, right? You wanted to go alone. And so Cantarius offered to lead them, and then Theo and Antonius.
And do we know anything
else to do
about what happened there?
As in like what happened in the desert? Yeah. I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, you could probably make a roll at some point here to like have found out some stuff, but like I feel like you guys kind of Sergio's policy now is like leave everybody alone, and he's really hard on all the nobles and the church guys, and he's super loose on all the citizens. And so like the desert region was like, oh, here's a bunch of like pagans out in the desert before we were like crusading against them for no real reason. Yeah. And now Sergio's like, just leave them alone. Don't touch them. Right.
Okay. Gotcha.
So there's not as much contact between the two regions anymore.
Okay. Cool.
But you can still make a roll if you wanted to know something.
I know it's fine. I was just wondering if I do like, oh, hey, all those bets have happened.
Thanks, bud. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you'd be like, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And then we scan over to Theo. So Theo is played by Simon Baker.
Oh, forgot. Yeah.
The token I chose for him, as opposed to the one we had before, has like a little bit of a beard and a little bit more kind of messy hair, which if that's fine with you, Adam, I feel like that's probably where Theo's at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit more grizzled. Things have changed, What else do we see from Theo? What's different about him? Or
I wasn't really thinking. I think he was just wearing sort of I was thinking like a brown cloak over his normal like outfit, just kind of sort of inconspicuous. But
yeah, you guys are trying not to draw attention necessarily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I assume you have your trident with you.
Yeah, he's probably like kind of underneath his arm, kind of healing it or hiding it underneath the cloak, trying not to like, hey, everybody, I've got a trident. He's just kind of hiding it under the cloak.
Slightly difficult
underneath his arm.
It
might be kind of difficult, but it's not very obvious.
This is where we see the new season version of his trident, where it collapses like a ruby weapon, and it's like a pen, and then you push it, and it gets 7 times longer, and
turns
also
into a
shoots
harpoon
bullets
gun.
for some reason.
Yeah. Well, if you get demon magic, Theo, we can talk about having a collapsible trident. That was actually one of the first things that Adam asked me was like, "Oh, it's not. Can I collapse it?" And I was like, "No, we do not have the technology for this." Yeah,
that'd be awesome. It's like it only like it needs to be like a rod, like 2 feet, and then it extends. It doesn't have to be like pen size where it's like, oh yes, pull out my trident.
It's technically something you could work towards. It would be difficult.
I want
but
to.
you could try it.
Yeah, I mean, one of your beliefs is literally I want to become God. So I feel like
That's true.
telescoping
It's true.
trident is
Well, I'll tell you
just
what.
way down there.
If you can become a god, you can have a collapsible trident.
Basically, beside
Yeah,
There
exactly.
you go.
Well, it's, hey, you know what would be awesome? Technically, who's the goddess of water in the pantheon? Narani. You kill her, you can take her place and become Poseidon.
There you go.
I could definitely see that being Theo's endgame is kill Narani and become the god of marriage and water. Get your wife back, right?
Oh.
Because of the marriage aspect, and then become Poseidon, basically.
Is that how that works? As long as you're married, you have total power, even if they're dead. Is that?
I don't know. We'd have to make a roll, but
Oh,
cool.
man.
So
Okay.
the coronation continues, and you all are paying attention to it. I think one of the figures that we focus on is and this would be someone that you, Dellon, would know about, who's been invited. Probably one of the most important people in the city. He's up on the dais as well. No, not Alfons. It's a guy named Faustus Non. And Faustus.
Does he have the Faust trait?
He does not have the Faust trait.
Dang. All right.
But I liked that
Faustus, that's
name
cool.
so much. So, where is this guy? There he goes. So he is played by Mads Mikkelsen. So it looks like that.
Nice. All right. That's cool.
So dignified middle-aged man, with like a neat haircut and kind of like a slight kind of grizzled beard. This is the guild master of Lucerta, right? So this is the guy in charge of all of the guilds. And as Lucerta was like, as the reins were loosed off of the Lucertan citizens and the church stopped having as much direct influence, this is one of the guys who's risen into that power vacuum and really like kind of become pretty powerful in the city. And so he's here, and if this was a show, right, this is like we're just kind of focusing on his face for a second because we're telling the audience this guy's going to be important later, and then we kind of scan past him and go back to Valerio, the Prince of Ceran, soon to become king. Was it not 2 dice?
It still says 1 on mine.
Oh, yeah, it should be 2 dice. Yeah, let's make it 2 dice. So we see Valerio and the king, or the prince now to become king. The sermon ends. He steps up, right? Valerio steps up, and Sergio also steps up, and the kind of part of the ritual where he would be coronated and stuff. And I think what happens is Sergio starts to like begin the rote words of like, and now we invest you with power to rule in the physical realms under the lordship of God. And then Valerio like holds up a hand to like forestay the ritual for a moment, and Sergio like frowns and he's like, what are you and Valerio turns to the crowd, right? He says, before I officially take the crown of Ceran and become your king, I would like to say a few words to inspire and uplift the gathered assembled. I know that we have had a difficult time in Ceran of late, with the war against Shoei, with the troubles. Try to think of how he would refer to the troubles with the cults that have been happening. With the troubles of a religious nature that have been plaguing us for some time. And Sergio frowns deeper at that. And he continues and he says, I would like to ensure the people of Ceran, and the people of Lucerta specifically, that I will not stand idly by as our country burns around us. We will rise from the ashes, and we will become more glorious than ever before. The Gulf of Teco will be renamed when we are finished with it, as the Gulf of Ceran. And all in this region and the rest of Serragon will know that the great God has blessed us and has made us his people for his pleasure and for his glory. And we, in that glory, will be known far and wide as strong, benevolent, and wise people. And with me as your head. And he uses the word in Serrano that's like head that would normally be used for the Pope, right? That's the word that's being used here,
Right.
but it's like it's ambiguous enough that he could also use it in this case, but it's definitely like he's trying to put the church down a notch with that statement.
Right.
And he continues and he says, with me as the head of Ceran,
Does it mean like moral authority, basically?
basically,
Kinda
yeah,
like
exactly.
that. Okay.
Yeah, moral authority. I'm trying to think. He's going to say
Sorry.
something about like, and no, implying like the war will continue, but like not using those sort of words. More like, we will spread our influence and ensure that Serragon will never be threatened again. And then I'm going to go ahead and make an oratory roll for him to see how well this goes. So he's trying to like he's basically trying to get like mainly the gathered nobles on his side. He knows that like the church people aren't necessarily going to be okay with this speech. Oh, and I guess as part of that, the very last part of this speech, he says, to that end, I have decided, because of its incredible influence and importance, the city of Lucerta will now become the seat of my throne. And that's news to all of you guys, Cantarius, Alfons, Theo. That's a big statement right there.
This is how democracy dies, with thunderous applause.
With thunderous applause, yeah, exactly. I mean,
Well,
it was a theocracy before, not a democracy, but
This is how theocracy dies.
exactly.
There you go.
Caleb, what's the ob for increasing his ob with magic?
What do you want to do to make it better?
Is he wearing a
Right?
belt?
Wait, you're trying to like pants him in the middle of a speech?
Yeah.
Well, that was
That
certainly
didn't
not what I
take
expected.
We're back, baby. We're back.
Is that really what you want to do?
Who gave Jared magic
Essentially.
again? How did this happen?
I have teleportation magic. I'm gonna just teleport his belt over.
Yeah, I suppose you could try something like that. So I think what you would be rolling here is like a hindrance.
Okay.
So let me find spatial discipline real quick.
Yeah, I lost that sheet that said everything that I could do with the magic.
All right, I'll send you the link again. All right, so what it says here is the channeler may hinder one or more. Oh, I guess I should have gone through the specific ops, but for yours, Connor. But oh well. The channeler may hinder one or more of the target's abilities. When using this effect, the player must name which specific ability he is targeting. So I'm assuming you're doing oratory, right? You're making his speech worse.
Yeah.
Hindrance can manifest as any option within the purview of spatial discipline, and I think this makes sense if you're trying to like mess with him physically, right? Like to make him look awkward, and yeah, I think that's something you could attempt. That's going to be how much of an ob do you want to give him? And that'll set the base obstacle for the test. So you can do +1 ob, +2 ob, or +3 ob.
What are the obs for each?
+1 ob is ob 2, +2 ob is ob 3, +3 ob is ob 5. It's possible these obs increase if there's other factors at play too. So
And I can fork in my other disciplines into spatial.
if they are
discipline, right?
relevant to the test you're making. So if
Okay.
if teleporting a belt off of someone would be helped by one of those things.
Yeah.
I don't think either of them would.
I'm slowing time so I can focus.
No, you can't
on-
slow time. It's your
Is that not-
perception of time.
Oh, okay.
I don't think being able to use ATM would help you take a belt off of someone with magic faster necessarily.
No. I use the essential discipline to increase my perception, so I can focus in on the belt.
I don't think it's relevant enough. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
I'll do
negligible.
I'll do ob 2. The one
Ob
that
2.
was ob 2.
Can you use the
So-
essential discipline to make him like weaker so that he can't?
Yeah, but that'd be
hold
like
onto his
a
belt?
separate thing.
This
okay.
is more
Right.
this is more funny.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, base ob 3 for this test, and
What?
then let's check if there's any other modifiers. You're just doing it on a single target.
No, I
Right.
said the one that was ob 2. I'll do
Oh, ob 2. Okay, so
giving him an
you're
ob.
giving him a +1 ob 1, or +1 ob. Yeah. Okay, you're trying to do it on someone besides yourself, so that increases to.
Oh wait, it automatically open-ends. So yeah, never mind. I'll do the one that's op 3. Why not?
Okay, op 3. It'll increase to op 4 because you're doing it against someone that's not yourself.
Never mind. Then. I'll go back down to
Wait,
so back down to the one.
Why would the assumption be that you're not hindering someone? Why would it be +1 ob to hinder someone that's not you?
This is just for all spells. They have these modifiers,
okay.
right? So it's just harder to do something against someone else than it is to do something to yourself.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll make it an ob 3, and then you're just doing it for one test, right?
Yeah.
So no increased ob there. The other rules that are relevant here, you're not casting under pressure. Would you like to, if the channeler player names his spell with an appropriately florid name or offers a vivid description of how he is using his source, then you gain +1 die to cast the spell. Also, this is Narani giving you the magic as a reminder. So, what does this look like? Are you just because you technically ask her for magic every time that you do something like this? What does that look like? Like Narani,
like, hey,
pants this guy.
Narani, watch this. I'm gonna make a fool of this guy.
Okay. Yep. And then would you like to give a florid description or name the spell to get an extra die?
Oh.
Yeah. So I guess that's an interesting
Cantarius
point.
Maximus.
Okay. There you go. If Narani doesn't want this to happen, how does that work? If she has to grant him power every time?
I think typically the way that it works now is because we flipped the causality. The power source only comes into play when you fail a test. So I think the assumption is more or less she's okay with it unless you fail. And then the assumption is she's like, like that wasn't okay, sort of a thing.
Yeah, you're an idiot. Why would you do that?
Exactly. Yeah.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah, obviously if there would be something like super bad against her, like if he was trying to use magic specifically against her. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Can't do that. But so it's going to be
op 3 total.
Op 3, and you're naming it Cantarius Maximus.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
I got put on the fly for that. I have a couple other ones named.
On the fly.
You got put on the fly. Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, Jared, when you do this, we should make note of each of these that you're doing.
Where should I
what's the easiest way to do this?
Just in
because
rituals?
basically, if you cast it, let's just put it in rituals for now. So go ahead and write the name of the spell, like a very slight description of what it does, so you remember, and then write 1 out of what's your spatial at right now?
4, I think.
Then write 1 out of 6. So if you cast the spell six times, then you will get a permanent +1 die to cast it.
Okay.
Because it's woven into your being. And technically that's something you could have done too, Cantarius. I just forgot.
What are you referring to?
Every time you cast a spell, you can give it a florid name or description, and you can get an advantage die for it. And if you cast the same spell multiple times, you can basically, if you cast it enough times, you can basically weave the spell into your being such that you get a permanent +1 die bonus to every time you cast it. Like if you have one thing that you're always doing. So if you want to make a note somewhere of, having multiple people be able to hear across the room, that can be a thing that you could do constantly, and then work up to like weaving it into your being as like a permanent spell that you have access to.
And that would just increase the ob by 1 as I perform the roll?
It would give you an extra die.
Oh, it'd give me an extra...
The increasing ob was what Jared was trying to achieve.
Yeah. That's what Jared's trying to do with the spell.
By naming the spell, you get an extra die, and if you actually cast it enough times, you get a permanent additional die, basically, to...
Oh, if I cast it enough times.
Yeah. Okay. Which, to be fair, Hearing Better is a spell that Cantarius has cast a million times already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would write down whatever you want to name that specific spell, Connor, a quick description of what it does, and then 1 out of 4 for you, because you have a 6 in sensory discipline. Basically,
he should just have the here, because you gave me one that I used a bunch. Just have
I would think
he should just
that
have
makes sense.
Because he's used that like 100 times.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that off screen, and then we can add those if they're relevant. But
okay.
Okay, cool. So I would just go ahead and make the roll. It's what do you say? 3? Yeah,
3, and I get +1. And can I fork in noble wise, because I know exactly how noble pants work. the intricacies of
no.
How many men's belts have you undone, Alphonse?
Exactly. I don't think you want that fork.
I do my own pants every day. What are you talking about?
That's fair.
Yeah, well, have you ever tried doing someone else's clothes that's different than yours? Come on, you know that. You're married.
And with magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So op 3. Hey, there you go.
There we go.
I hated the succeeded.
So you hear Narani sigh as you do it, right? But she doesn't stop it. And then like his belt falls off, but like it obviously, I don't think it like completely pantses him, because that would be like a much bigger thing, but he at least has to catch it in time, and like suddenly his pants are looser and he's like, oh crap, and he's trying to like keep himself together, right? So this will increase his ob for his oratory. So I think it's going to be an op 5 now to do his oratory successfully. And he is going to fork in conspicuous, etiquette, doctrine, because that was a lot of things he was saying. And that'll be it. Hey, there you go.
Darn.
He got a lot of 6s too. All right, so he still succeeds despite your attempt to make him fail. So
it just makes his clothes flap dramatically in the wind. And
right, yeah. He's just too charismatic of a persona. Like he does have 5 in oratory.
Mm-hmm.
So he's good at public speaking. Even your attempt to hinder him does not negate his good speech. And that definitely immediately sets up half of the noble court like against you guys, right? Because he's like swayed them to his cause here, to at least start supporting him in this endeavor. But then he turns back to Sergio, right? And he says, please continue, High Priest of Ceran. And Sergio is just so angry about everything that's happening right now. And he's just exasperated. And he finishes the ritual, like probably too quick, right? Goes through the speech, little rote statements, with awkward quickness, and then coronates him, gives him the crown. And then, he turns back and raises up his scepter, Valeria does, and the gathered nobles all clap. And I mean, even some in the gathered like citizens crowd cheer as well. Because even if they only heard some of it, like they're still like, oh, perfect, finally a strong leader who's gonna like lead us to glory, and make our lives better, and we don't have to deal with the church as much, maybe, whatever their qualms might be with whatever situation they're in. And yeah, so I think we get another shot of Faustus Non like politely clapping next to you, Dellon. So Cantarius, your purpose for coming here was to try to like suss out the crowd.
Again, why did you say sus? And why did you have to say? He said that
good
before
word
too.
It's a good word.
No.
Fine, you're being so sus.
Right, you're trying to figure out if any of these gathered important people happen to be demons or have any weird magical things going on with them. Would you like to attempt to do that?
Yeah.
So what does that exactly look like? You're using the intellectual discipline to do your demon stuff. What is your actual intent here?
Okay, so
I guess you're using the skill as if it was aura reading, right? That's the idea here.
Yeah.
So I'll give you the things you can do with aura reading.
No, we're just listening through a door, correct?
So basically you're outside of the cathedral. And the big doors of the cathedral are open. So you can see through, at least in some capacity. That's probably hard to see, but because of your role, you can hear, no problem.
Gotcha. Yeah, so can I say that narratively, when I'm looking for a bond using the intellectual discipline, that I just like close my eyes and like see with my mind?
The description of second sight is basically you turn off your normal vision and you turn on the second sight, right? So it's not like you can't see at all, but it's like there's like a veil of gossamer magic aura stuff that like goes over your vision, and so it makes it harder to see normally. I mean, I think I think you can see through the walls and stuff to look at this stuff, right? It's a sense that goes through that sort of stuff. Yeah.
And what do the bonds look like when I've seen them before?
I don't know. What do you think? It would be some sort of like magical connection, tethering. You know what? You can direct me if you want to change this, but maybe it's like something like a tether coming from their back to like a shadowy smoke cloud or something behind them, right? Yeah.
Or not really behind them. Well, I suppose behind them would make even more sense. But
it's like following them where they go.
The demon could be bonded to multiple things, though.
That's true, but so it would probably be like there's a cloud of smoke behind them that's tethered to them, but there's other tethers going off into space somewhere else, right?
Sure. Yeah.
These little magical.
Yeah. I'd like to say since the demon can be in a sense more omnipresent because of having multiple tethers. Like if you go to each tether, right, you're going to see the demon there.
Yep.
So I'd like to say that it's more like a pillar that comes down from like a dark cloud that wherever I go, I see a dark cloud over the whole world.
Oh yeah.
And there are certain places where there's a pillar that comes down and that's a demon that is bonded to something and it has a tether.
100%, because what these demons are doing when they're not bonded to something is just kind of hanging out in the weird magical atmosphere of the planet. Yeah. When Cantarius,
air pollution.
I know when Cantarius first did this, guys, he like got really depressed because like the entire Earth is surrounded by this, right?
Yeah. Gosh, what a terrible.
Like where the demons are like, behold,
exactly. Yeah,
the sky.
Okay, so the things you can do, like a la aura reading, is you can detect if the subject is alive, dead from this plane or another with an ob 1. But that would be if you're looking at the person specifically. Like the person specifically that was bonded to the demon wouldn't be like this. And it's not like the demon is actually there per se in the same way. So I don't think it's gonna be an ob 1 test. Reading an aura is an ob 1 test. And technically plenty of, so when people are bounded to demons, they get corruption. They get the corruption attribute, and there are plenty of auras like aura of malevolence and aura of fear that you can get from corruption. So that's like the easiest way to tell if someone has a demon or likely to have a demon is like looking for an aura and being like, ooh, this guy has aura of malevolence. They're just evil. Like they're probably demon possessed. That's one way of going about it, but it's not 100% reliable. You can do ob 2 to read a mood. Ob 3 to see a character trait. Seeing a die or call on trait is ob 4, and I think that's what you're looking for. Ob 4 to see if does it say possessed on your character sheet, right? So yeah, I think it's gonna be an ob 4. You're doing it against someone else, so that'll increase the ob by. Oh, actually, sorry, I don't think the other obs come into play here because you're just using it as if it was the skill. So this is an ob 4 test. I don't think there's any increasing. What would you like to call this? Would you like to give a florid description of how you're using? So basically the two ways you can get this like first advantage die is either give the spell a florid name or, florid fancy name, or describe you using your power source in a particularly fancy way, right? Give us a florid description of you using the dark secrets of the universe to channel your magic. Either if you'd like to offer us either of those, then you can get an advantage die on this.
So I put narrative flavor on this metagame.
Yep.
Can you say the options again? I didn't quite understand what.
Yeah. So basically, you can either give it like a really fancy name, if someone doing a fireball, right? The Inferno of the Heavens or something, and then this would be like a thing you can do in the future and be like, I cast Inferno of the Heavens again, sort of a thing. Or you can give us a florid description of how you're using like the energy you get from your power source.
A what description? A florid?
Florid,
as in like fancy,
like flowery.
Yeah. Gotcha.
That's the word I used in the description that I wrote up. So I'm using the word again multiple times.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so florid description or name it something.
Elaborately or excessively intricate or complicated is the definition of florid.
And this would be just how I'm seeing it.
This would be how you're using. So remember, you are a hex. You and Theo are both hexes, which means you get your magic power from the dark secrets and mysteries of the universe.
Right.
So I don't even know what that looks like, but if you can give us a description of what it looks like.
Well, I mean, I thought I just did, right? Like I'm seeing these tethers.
Oh yeah, that's true. You totally just did.
All right.
Yeah, you're like, there's a dark cloud surrounding the world. Yeah, okay. Yep. Fair enough.
Okay. All right. I was like, what more do you want?
I mean, I think the distinction I was looking for is like how you're using the energy enchant. Because remember, what's happening with the magic is you're like finding energy, channeling it through these disciplines, these categories of magic to make an effect. So like we see that obviously, but what does it actually look like when you like take magic from wherever you get it from and use it? Besides your just eyes glowing or whatever.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then some of the dark black smoke in the atmosphere,
of course,
I call it down and breathe it through my nostrils.
Amazing.
And then I can see the tethers.
Amazing. That's awesome. All right, yeah, take an advantage die for sure. And then I don't think there's any other factors that are coming into play here. But if you would like to write down like seeing a possessed person as one of the things you're gonna do a lot, right?
Yeah, me
do that for the future.
I'm gonna call it Sixth Sight.
I love it. Cool.
I'm gonna call it the Sixth Sight. That's gonna be really heckin' hard to say.
So go ahead and make a test with your intellectual discipline at OB4, and you will get 1 advantage die, unless you have any skills that would be able to be forked into this. I don't think anatomy will.
I technically get 2 extra dice here because I named it and described it in a florid way.
So the way it works is it's in the same
one or the other
paragraph. It's both one or the other gives the die.
Could you go into that document and just hit enter twice?
But the idea is if you name it and do it multiple times, then you can get
then eventually
a permanent 1 die as long as you know.
So here's my question: can I use the sensory discipline inside the intellectual discipline mindscape? Or the physical discipline inside the intellectual discipline mindscape?
I don't think you can use the physical discipline, and you can't use anatomy. I think there might be an argument for sensory because I've always described the sensory discipline as not just being like increasing human capability of. You're not a tin eye. This is like magical. You're
magical
being able to
reading.
Completely change the way senses work. Right, because we've described it as you just magically place your ears in a different location, right? Like that's what happens, which is not something that's like you're just not just enhancing normal human capabilities. You're completely bypassing it entirely. What do you guys think? Should we allow him to use magic's hearing and sight inside the mindscape?
If he can make demon stuff visible, that seems like a thing that can be seen.
Yeah, fair enough.
It seems like it. Yeah.
Yep.
Which I mean, kind of is already what he's doing, but I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. I think because what's happening basically is because he has the second sight trait, it's now a sense that he has access to, and the sensory discipline can do stuff with the senses. Okay, yeah, sure.
Technically, it's the sixth sight. I'm not sure what 3, 4, and 5 are, but
the trait you have on your sheet says second sight. Your spell is sixth sight. Yeah.
Okay,
so I'd like know what the third, fourth, and fifth ones are.
Exactly.
Right.
We'll find out. All your spells have to be called that.
I'm using the intellectual discipline in regards to demons. So I'm getting a +1 die for affinity for demons. I'm getting a +1 die for sensory discipline, +1 die for my florid description.
Yep.
And then I'm getting. I'm curious if cult doctrine can also be applied here. That I've heard. I've read about.
I would allow it as a linked test if you'd like to take the chance of the linked test, but I don't think it's an automatic fork.
No, I don't think so. You didn't even let me finish my argumentation, but I guess no. You know what? Let's just cut the crap. Let's just roll. What's my op?
real quick. I'm just going to double check this. I'm trying to think if it would matter if you're trying to look at multiple people. I think it will, because typically you're just looking at one person with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and
probably
add.
still add a breadth modifier. Right?
I think so. So you can choose a particular person if you'd like, and it would be an ob 4. Or if you want to do multiple people, like if you want to literally know everyone in the room, right? What are they possessed or not? Like everyone around you, it's an ob 7.
Shoot. Okay, so let me think this through.
And it's magic, so it's open-ended.
Yeah, it's true. And you have Fate and Persona to work with.
Yeah.
And this is like
dude,
everybody is here.
I'll reveal all the secrets basically immediately.
Yeah,
there's like a ton of like all the nobles are here.
What's the ob for 1? 4? Why can't I just make the ob 4 test like 100 times?
Multiple times? No, that's not how Bernie will work.
Because eventually you would fail and then you would tax yourself to death, probably.
Yeah. Well, for Cantarius and Theo, their tax,
and also it would take a long time.
they make a steel test, and if they fail, then they hesitate, and it can be hesitate for like important things that are happening, not just like beats of action. So Cantarius can just like go into a catatonic state for a while, and Theo and Antonius have to drive
probably from not only breathing in this black smoke demon stuff, but also actually it's probably the demons fighting back and pushing me out of their world.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, some glowing eyes see you, and you're like, oh.
Cantarius is dealing with some dangerous powers here.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of Cytonic, if you've read that.
Oh yeah. The Delvers or whatever.
Yeah. I haven't read the last one yet, but I need to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I guess it doesn't remind me of Cytonic because I haven't read that. It reminds me of the other one, the middle one.
Yeah. So one thing to do before we actually make this roll, technically, Theo, if you'd like to help out your friend with your dark faith, technically you could do that, right? You could like, I guess not open end, but you could give him some like advantage dice or something.
Speaking of dabbling,
if that would be something, because this could be a thing you guys do normally, right? It's like this team up, like Theo, give me some power, right? Give me some juice, and I'll do this, right?
It's like a seance where like
give me some dead god juice. Yeah.
So would I get the same? Would I get the same result if he fails?
So no. Oh yeah.
No.
Well, so for faith, you have different failure conditions.
Yeah.
I guess you are tied to his failure if you help here in some way, but I think it's more because you're making your own roll. It's just
he's making a linked test, right? Basically.
Yeah. I think it's just if you fail is what matters. So for faith and dead gods here, you can give him like bonus dice. You can't open end it because it's already open ended, so that won't help. But you can do a ob 4 test with faith. And it's basically meeting the obstacle grants +1 die to any skill stat, stealth, or health test. Additional successes above ob 4 give you another die up to a maximum of +3. So that would be the thing you're rolling if you would like to give him some juice.
Sure, I'll help.
Okay. So yeah, ob 4 faith test. Let's do that first, I guess.
How do you do that again?
Yeah, you describe this, Theo. What does this look like when you pray to your new patron?
I'm trying to think.
This is you in like a big crowd too, so you can't be too flashy with it. But
yeah,
I think you do have to like speak out loud to make the magic work.
I don't think it would be. Does it have to be flowery or anything?
Not necessarily. But you have to like speak aloud.
Oh, I actually have to like
I think so.
Incantation?
We've kind of gone back and forth on it in the campaign, but like according to the actual rules of Burning Wheel, this is a prayer that needs to be spoken aloud. And I think I want to stick with that.
Okay.
So,
I feel like he just says it out loud. He's like, "Where are they, oh Lord? Where are they?" And like really dramatic.
Yeah.
Nice.
And a couple of people like look at you like, what the hell? Yeah, what are you doing?
Tell us where they are.
Amazing.
And then he says, and he's kind of like, he's talking to him in not like flowery language. He's sort of saying, we could speed this up a little quicker. He's like, we can fast track this deal between us if you show us where they are.
Sounds good. All right, go ahead and make an Ob4 faith test. And you can add Persona to this if you'd like. You can also spend Fate after the fact to reroll. So you have 5 in Faith, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you might want to spend a Persona or 2. Up to you, though.
Yeah, I will. How do I do that again? I don't
So
even
one of the options on there is to add Artha, and you just put a 1 in that.
Well, like, what do I type in? I can't remember.
So go ahead and click on Faith, the little D6 next to Faith.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yep. And then skip through the first field, and we'll go to Artha, and then put 1 in that one, and then 4 in the Ob field.
Yeah, I'm still. It was at Faith in Dead Gods, or
yeah, Faith in Dead Gods. Yeah.
So I put.
And also remember to delete the persona off your sheet and put it in the little bubble next to the Faith in Dead Gods thing too, because then you can track that you've spent it.
One thing to keep in mind, Theo, you've actually spent a deeds point in your will, and Faith is shaded the same as your will. So if you happen to permanently gray shade your will, which you're on track to do because you've already spent a deeds point in it, it will also gray shade your Faith. So that's an idea to keep in mind.
So okay. So what exactly do I do again? I can't. It's been a while. I
can't. No, you're fine. Click that D6 next to Faith in Dead Gods, right?
The D6. Wait, what?
The little die icon next to Faith in Dead Gods on your sheet.
Oh.
Yep. And then it'll bring up a field that first is like advantages, but you can skip through that. We want the next field is Artha. It might have disappeared.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah. Okay. Help and advantages.
Help and advantage is 0. Artha, which is the next field, 1. Because you're spending a Persona point. And then Ob 4.
Okay. It went back to help it. Oh, I rolled. Okay.
All right, so you failed, but you do have. Well, I guess your 6 is automatically rerolled.
Oh, yeah, true.
But you can reroll. You can spend 1 fate to reroll one of those failed dice if you would like.
Don't I have like a bunch of fate?
Yeah, you have a whole bunch of fate. Fate. Yeah.
Okay, how do I do that? I can't remember.
You could just reroll.
There should be actually a D6 next to fate on the top there, and you can click that, and it will ask you for the remaining Ob and the amount of dice you're rolling, and 1 for both.
The helps and advantages just came up again. I don't know if that was the old one.
I think it's the old one, yeah.
Okay. So I just re-roll, basically?
No. So there's a D6 icon next to Fate on the top.
Oh, Fate.
Yep. Sorry. We kept mixing those words up. And it will ask you for the remaining Ob and the amount of dice you're rolling. Put 1 in both of those fields.
Yeah. 1.
There you go. You got a 4. So that is a success.
Sweet.
So just 1 die for Cantarius, but it is successful.
That's
he gives you a little nudge.
That's still a die.
So I would like to think that Theo, the power that you get from, your being a hex and from your faith kind of comes from the same place that Cantarius's does. I think that, but I think you see, instead of this dark cloud, you see a dark cloud and a pair of eyes in there, right? There's a pair of eyes in the cloud that only you can see. Cantarius can't see these eyes. And instead of breathing in the smoke, I think you draw energy from the glowing eyes, and it filters down to you from the sky. You down with that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we see this, and we see a little juice be given to Cantarius for his roll. So you can add another die there, Cantarius.
Sweet.
So Ob 7 if you'd like to learn all the secrets.
I think I'm going to spend 2 Persona points on this.
Sounds good.
Not sure.
Did you see your Persona points again? Oh, right there. Never mind.
Yeah, mark that you spent a fate in faith as well.
Did you already do the Persona or no?
I did not.
Okay.
So in which case this would be what? 10 dice for a 7? What are my odds? 17%? Something stupid like that. Oh no, it's open-ended.
It is open-ended. I actually have a calculator for this. Let's see.
I spend 2, or I can only spend 1 fate afterwards just to reroll.
So 10 dice open-ended against a 7.
Mm-hmm.
39% chance of success.
Caleb, is my success still tied to his?
You get odds.
No, I think
that's just for help.
Yep. If you were offering him just like a help die or something, that'd be one thing. But that you just made your own roll. So
Okay.
Yeah, I think 39% chance to reveal the secrets of the season as fair odds for Caleb's sake.
Yep.
You don't have any persona you can add, or no?
Whoa, so
I did
close.
You can coin flip it.
Yeah. So you can spend one fate to reroll one of those failed dice.
Oh man.
Here we go, y'all.
Did you spend persona? Oh, you did. Okay.
So
did you only have two
persona?
I swear.
No, I could have spent another one, but I didn't.
If you get this is a turning point for Cantarius forevermore.
It's going to be everybody. The answer is literally, oh yes,
did it.
Yes.
Amazing.
Oh,
That's
man.
incredible.
I was sure we were going to fail that just because it would have been so cool that too.
That is an incredible way to start off the season. Okay.
And that was a difficult test. That's not bad.
Okay, so
one more difficult test and I upgrade my intellectual discipline. So that'd be nice.
Okay, let's see. Let me double check everyone who has the possessed trait.
Wait, hold up. What? You need to double check.
I think there are more than
literally
one.
Every noble and like a humongous chunk of the citizenry. Like, yeah.
Okay.
The entire
It's
crowd
not.
except us. We're like,
okay, so the people you notice, so there is a man up there named Armando Cull, played by James Gandolfini. He looks like that, right? Like more rotund man, balding. And he's standing up there. He's a bishop. He's the bishop of, so there's 3 bishops technically in the city of Lucerta. There's Sergio, who's like the bishop of everyone, right? He's like the high bishop. There's Nico Ard, the guy who was giving the sermon earlier. He's the bishop of the city of Lucerta. And then Armando Cull is the bishop of the temple district, like basically the Vatican, sort of a thing. So that's this guy. So he's one of the bishops. He is standing up there looking very nervous and sweaty. But I mean, Dellon has known this for a while about the man.
Tell just by the look on his face.
Yeah. Well, so Dellon, this guy's been like this for a long, long time. His nerve
nervous and sweaty
snapped. His nerve just snapped at one point, and he's never been the same since. You're not entirely sure what happened, but like he jumps at everything. He's just a terribly distressed looking man all the time now. He most of the time just stays in his little like palace in the Vatican, basically. But he came out for this like a really important ceremony. And Cantarius, he's 100% possessed by a demon.
Okay.
But there are more.
Of course.
So the other person who's possessed by a demon is let me just
the king.
No, he's not possessed by a demon. Let me double check someone. No, okay. I know there's the one person who's like the most who I knew was like possessed for sure. But I'm double checking the other people that I have here. Because some of these people I actually haven't made character sheets for either, so I just want to make sure I know for sure what I want to be. Nope. Okay, so the other person who you notice who is possessed by a demon is Faustus Non, the guild master of Lucerta. So the guy played by Mads Mikkelsen that we saw earlier, who has kind of filled the power vacuum now that the church has kind of taken the reins off. So he is the guy in charge of all of the guilds, and he has like the ear of the people. He's a people's man. All the citizens love him. He is possessed by a demon. It seems like a particularly powerful demon. Like Armando, okay, a minor demon. This guy, very powerful demon. You muted.
Oh, sorry. I don't see an image for this person.
He already showed it to us. You were introduced to him.
That guy.
Oh, that guy. Right.
Yep. So he's the guild master. And I think you get a name for this guy, for the demon that you see from Faustus Non. He's just so powerful that like his name kind of like gets revealed to you.
It's like a Death Note. Just red
sort of
scratches in the air above him.
Exactly. Yep. And the demon's name is Targoth. So.
Well, I bet I just hear his name. I bet there are other
demons
around him, like chanting his name or something.
Cantarius, this is the demon that you've been chasing.
Oh, okay.
Right. This is
That's
the one
the
that
guild
like you've been
master.
hearing the names like this. It's almost a guaranteed thing that Cantarius has figured out. This is the guy who's in charge of the Harbingers, probably. Like he probably uses the guilds as a front for this Harbinger cult that he's started.
Okay.
It's so funny because I was planning on this being like a slow build where you slowly realize this guy's like a bad guy. But nope, Cantarius knows day one.
There's magic for you.
Yeah, but only wait. Do I see what he sees or no?
No, Cantarius would have to relay this to you.
Okay,
not yet.
So technically, only
will.
Cantarius would know unless he goes and tells everybody.
Yeah,
so
unless he tells.
Even though we know it, our characters don't. So
yeah,
right. Yeah, and
I'll tell you. I'll tell you as long as I don't die in this mindscape.
Don't get eaten by the.
Yeah, and probably what happens, Cantarius, is like
clouds.
you hear the name being chanted, right? You Targoth.
Yep,
that's cool.
As okay,
The
I'm imagining it kind of like
clouds.
yeah, I'm imagining it kind of like what is it? Shadow Mordor, where like the closer you get to the orc, right, it starts chanting his name. And
Nice.
you just hear this like being chanted by all like the demons in the clouds, and then you see two red eyes like turn to you for just a moment, and then like you cut off contact so that the demon can't like notice that you noticed. Like he didn't notice, but he sensed that someone was like looking at him. Yeah, exactly. And then you like cut it off to like be safe, and you're like, whew, you're like sweating. You're like, oh man.
So it was just those two that are possessed.
Those two. Yep.
Okay, so this is totally Sergio is not possessed.
Sergio is not possessed.
Interesting.
he's just crazy.
Didn't expect that one.
It's probably safe to say he's being haunted by demons, but he's not currently possessed by one.
Okay, so I don't think we should do anything right now. I probably I like pull out of the mindscape, and I'm sure Theo and Antonios are like,
What did you
What
see?
happened? Yeah. Theo's like, what did you see?
they're taking the hobbits to the
Cantarius, what do your magic guys see?
No, so I say the guildmaster. He's Targoth. He's the one we're after.
And
There's
like, cool.
another one
I can't see him
there as well.
He was like, didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Faustus Non.
Faustus Non.
And then what was the name of the other guy that I can't find?
Armando Cole.
Oh, Armando Cole, one of the bishops. He's also possessed, but I don't know if he's a part of what's going on here as well. I assume so. I assume they must be working together.
In a grand sense, they probably are, but it's possible he's not actually part of the Harbingers.
Right. Yeah, Cantarius is just giving some like exposition about like, I don't know exactly what if the demons all have a common goal or not. He's just kind of
So I think Antonius turns next to you and he's like fiddling with the hilt of his knife and he's like, well, what now, Cantarius? I assume we're not going to kill him in the middle of the crowd.
Now we wait. I think it would be best for us to speak with Dellon first about what I've seen. I think he's still our friend.
He may.
Oh wait, I thought you were talking about Targoth. I was like, I need to talk.
I mean, hey, after that display,
yeah. Antonius says, he may still be our friend Cantarius, but the rest of the church may not be, especially if this bishop is possessed too.
Actually, let me roll to see if I know Dellon's our friend or not.
I was gonna say.
You could make another intellectual discipline.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah, he's our friend.
Theo says it depends on where his loyalties lie.
White shaded sus roll.
Jared made that.
What? you don't know I added that on your character.
Yeah, well, I so know you added that.
That's so funny.
Yeah, you know what?
I mean,
you got to roll against
technically could, right? You can make a roll to see if he is. Yeah, Alfons has a Riz skill.
No, that's Siegfried.
Oh no, that's just my name on the bottom one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's confusing. You should change that.
That's so actually his character from Elysian Road. If you look at the picture.
Yep. Even more confusing. Yeah. So what you want me to roll? What?
Well, I was gonna say if you did want us to find out for sure, is Dellon like on our side? You could make another aura reading roll, right?
As in roll.
Does he have to be close to do that?
Yeah. No, I mean,
it's the same thing he did.
It's the same sort of thing, right? So for you, Connor, it would be like looking at a belief or something, right? Try to read a belief.
Yeah.
I don't actually know if that would help you any.
Well, I mean, I assume we would. It doesn't have to be a belief on his character sheet for me to find that out, or are we?
You know what? Let's know what's better. It would have to be a belief on his character sheet to find out. But okay. I think what would be better is when you talk to Dellon, make a roll to discover his intent, right? Just be like, as you're talking to him and like telling him about stuff, like, oh, okay, is he going to be on our side or not, right? Like,
for the record, Theo doesn't trust Dellon.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't think Antonius does either, but you guys both trust Cantarius, so.
Right, yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, so I think we...
You are still blind, my friend.
We just hear that thought bubble in Theo's head. Yeah. That's actually a great line because, Cantarius was once blind.
Yeah. Yeah, except that if you think that, you probably shouldn't follow him blindly.
I'm not following him blindly. I'm just...
you have a thing where you like always do what he says.
Theo trusts that Cantarius' intentions are always good, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought he had a thing that was like, I always do what he says or something.
No, he says always trust Cantarius, which is a different thing from always
that's
do
fair.
it.
Not always
jump
obey.
off a bridge if Cantarius
Always
tells
trust.
you to jump off, right?
That's fair. Okay. Good.
And he can always act against it,
It's an important distinction, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So I think we cut to like the wrapping up the ceremony. And we see Dellon. We follow Dellon as he like everybody's milling about, and I think honestly Averio like pulls you aside towards when everything is like ending here, and he looks at you and he says, Dellon, what do you think of everything that just happened? Sergio certainly didn't seem happy, and we see him like walk away, like muttering to himself.
Yeah. He just chuckles and he's like, well, the new king just used Sergio's, not his official title, his unofficial title, to sway the nobles to his ambition, I suppose, in the name of the church. So I can't imagine that Sergio would be pleased. This war was pointless, and I assume both countries were, because you said it was a tie and our capital was damaged, so I assume they were equally.
Pretty much.
And all we managed to do was cripple both countries. So I can't imagine there's no benefit from this.
Yeah, he nods and he says, I'm scared, Dellon. I saw what Sergio did to the head of the Inquisition, and if Valerio pushes him, and he catches himself, if the king, and he like looks around to make sure no one heard him like be disrespectful to the new king of Ceran, if the king pushes Sergio, he may snap again, and I can't help but see only blood come from that.
Yeah, Sergio is in a position of power over the Inquisitor, but if he tries something against the king, it'll be, well,
the thing is, Sergio wasn't in a position of power when he killed the head of the Inquisition.
Oh, was he not?
He became the dictator from that
whole
encounter there. I suppose that Vada wanted to make him the high priest of Ceran. So, okay, you could probably have argued that. That makes sense. But.
Okay. I guess I just didn't remember that perfectly.
Still fuzzier.
Yeah. But, yes, he says, well, let's just say what do they call the army? I don't know. The royal military. I don't know. What is it? What would they call it? Like actual
royal
army?
Military? Yeah, royal military makes sense. Yeah.
Let's just say the royal military outnumbers the Holy Order. This probably also has a name. Our order significantly, and
the Holy Knighthood.
Yeah, our knighthood significantly, and well, I wouldn't want to test a religious and secular conflict, especially not with. We don't. That's not an opening. We need to give. What's the name of the country we just fought the war against?
Shoei.
I thought it started with C.
No, Ceran is your guys' country.
Isn't Shoei the Japanese one?
No, Tekko is the Japanese one.
Oh,
Shoei is the Chinese.
That's the one. That's the name I was thinking of. Okay, there's just a C in there. That's not an advantage we need to give Shoei. I mean, if we start fighting each other, they're going to collapse on us immediately, and it will have no answer.
And Nuam Hadi is certainly not going to join us in a war that we're doomed to win from the beginning.
Yeah.
The question.
Can't imagine this goes well.
Yeah, exactly. He basically disagrees with you, and he says,
Yeah.
well, I'll think on this and see if we can come to a solution. In the meantime, we'll be watchful.
Yeah. Perhaps you know the secular codes better than I do. Are there grounds? Can the Holy Order refuse a muster to go back to? Obviously, I don't know. Did they declare war on us? I don't remember how it went.
He has the rule of law skill, so I suppose I can make a test for him.
Do we have doctrinal grounds? Can we refuse a muster if he tries to go back to war? I mean, he has to have justification. I know they're not.
I mean, you certainly have doctrinal grounds because you're the Holy Knighthood. You have doctrinal grounds for pretty much anything. The question would be, do you have like actual secular legal grounds? Yeah.
When that was in character too, he's asking him like, is there something we can say where like, hey, this war is unholy, right? It's not, because we're a holy order. So if a war is against our religion or whatever, or if he doesn't have a holy justification for it. What? Illegal?
Do you want the doctrinal? Do you want there to be like something very clearly about this war that could be taken as like evil, and like you can't do it because you're not being holy?
I mean, that would be convenient, but I don't know based on how aggressive I think without a role, religious
without a role you can
without
a role you can very easily say that like the Holy Knight can just get off on a technicality doctrinally, no problem. That's easy enough. Okay. But if you want there to be like a clear doctrinal position that no one could refute that you can have, or a clear legal technicality that no one could refute, that would be a role on either doctrine or rule of law.
And I know at least in typical stuff, a lot of legal justifications for war come from religious justification.
Sure, yeah.
Like crimes or,
Casus
whatever.
And,
that kind of stuff, right? And, you don't necessarily need one of those. You should just have one. But a lot of them are religious in nature, or like, you're punishing a crime or you're whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and
someone's a heretic.
The issue would be whether or not Valerio, because of his position against the church, would accept just a doctrinal position.
Right. But
it would be, it'd be a better role to make a rule of law test to be like, there's an actual secular law on the books that would make ensure that we can refuse this order.
Well, and I don't think that because if there's a doctrinal reason, then I assume that the Holy Order, the knighthood, can refuse. But I wouldn't assume that the military would ever, even if there was a good justification, I don't think they would care. But I'm assuming that because we're our own entity, if he declares a war and we're like, this isn't a religious matter, we're not going to muster.
There's three positions that could be taken here, right? Three possibilities. The one without a role is you can always refuse the order on religious grounds because you're in charge of the Holy Knights and they can basically get away with anything.
Right. Okay.
The issue would be he would challenge the order, right? He would be like, no, you do have to do this, and then there would be conflict. If you wanted to make a roll or have Averio make a roll on either rule of law or doctrine, you could make an irrefutable position for either doctrine or rule of law that would make that Valerio, that would be an obstacle for Valerio would have to overcome to be able to conflict.
I mean, we might as well. Yeah.
So would you rather be rule of law?
Yeah, I mean, I think a secular one's probably more. If we can get off on a religious technicality regardless, then I'm not too worried about that. So I guess I'll do rule of law. Can I help him with?
I don't think you can help him with doctrine, but if you have some other related skill.
Okay. No, that I can think of. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, so unfortunately, this would have to be a little bit of a difficult role. They think it's unlikely that this would exist. Because most of the laws around this are religious in nature, and so if you're trying to find something,
it would basically have to be a law that is implying that the secular order is basically has to answer to the religious obligation, right? So it would have to be a law being like, if the church says something is unholy, then the king can't do it, right? Which there are things like that, but who knows how they work in Ceran, you know?
Yeah, and the question would be, is there, because he's probably going to try to make a whole big case of like, we should just go to the secular laws now, any that are on their books, and ignore the purely religious laws and start to have a separation of church and state happen here. Your best bet is to have a law on the secular books
actual law,
that clearly ties authority in one direction, especially in this particular case. And I think that's like ob 5 for like a technicality.
One, because like, I mean, medievally, obvious in a medieval sense, rulers got their authority to rule from God, right? It was the idea.
Yeah.
And so that's why you couldn't do that kind of stuff. If the church opposed something, you did it anyways. It was a real big issue. And so that's why
you have to set a legal precedent that everyone would be very worried about breaking. Right.
Right. Well, and are there other countries that follow the same religion?
No, it's just Ceran.
Okay, well,
because like there are other Garrick countries that are like Greco-Roman Europeans are sort
the
of
culture, but not the religion.
But they have like just the pantheon of gods, like Greek god style. And you guys took that Greek god pantheon and made them patron saints for the great god.
Okay.
And so yours is a very like particular offshoot of.
Yeah, that makes it harder because we don't have other sovereignties adding weight to the religious significance of things. So that's much harder.
This is like Israel trying to make this precedence, right?
All right. Yeah, that complicates things.
Yep. Okay, so he's going to make a rule of law test. He has a 6 in it, and has a 1 fork for etiquette, I think, because like, is this the right etiquette in this situation?
I have a reading. Can I read something?
I don't think so. I'm not going to give him a fork for read. Do you have any other like?
No, I was kidding. I don't think we have anything to read.
Okay.
No, I just have doctrine and like foreign doctrine. Yeah, I don't think that they would help.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will just go ahead and make this roll for him. It's a difficult
persuasion.
Roll,
can I help trying to find one that would be persuasive?
No.
No. Okay.
Persuasive wise or something.
I guess. Can you do that? You can't have. Can you have a wise of a skill? I guess you can. Whatever.
Technically, yeah. You can have sword wise.
Yeah. That's why I said that. So I do have one.
Yeah.
Okay,
so he has some fate, so I will have him spend some.
Okay.
It's probably still a long shot, but he might as well.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oof.
2 3s. Right. If he had gratiated rule of law, he would have succeeded. But
yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So he. And it's just like you were still in like a conversation when you were having this.
Yeah, I was basically asking him like, is there any way we can refuse him?
He thinks about it for a moment, and he's like, I don't think there is, Dellon. There's all sorts of things in the doctrine that we could point to, but I don't think they care.
Well, if we can't do it on religious or legal grounds, we'll just have to do it on social grounds, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
Media has already been doing that. Well, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's strength of arms.
That's probably what you'll have to do.
Failing anything else. Yeah. So he says Media has already been working on inroads to there. We can, I mean, I don't know if I could tell that his speech worked, but
yeah, I think you could.
Like, okay, we have our work cut out for us. He's persuasive, and he won a lot of people over, I think, a minute ago. So if we're going to turn opinion against this war, it's going to be difficult. And I don't imagine he'll appreciate it.
Yeah, he nods and he just says, the problem with Ceran is that we haven't had a secular government for ages, and now there's new precedents being set every single time Valerio makes a statement. And he can get away with it because the church has never been threatened before. The nobles want this to happen. I could see it in their eyes. And they're not going to care if the church gets trampled underfoot. Not this time. Not after everything that's happened. And he like frowns and he's like, I don't know what Sergio was thinking, giving them loose rein like this. I know he wanted Ceran to be a more balanced place, but I don't think he understood the power vacuum that would open.
Well, he saw them abuse that power and he wanted to spread it more evenly, but I mean, the issue is when you hand power away, you never know if the person you're giving to it is worse than the one you took it from.
Prophetic statement about everything you guys have done in the campaign so far. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so I think we probably cut from the conversation there on that line. And I think
he does have one other thing. He says, I think he says, and sorry, what was this guy's name?
Averio.
Averio is And Averio, if you would, like I said, I don't suspect that our new king is going to appreciate Maria's inroads with the nobility and she's been making. I'd like to have, if you have the time or if you want to sign somebody else, somebody needs to guard her, because I don't know if this king is capable of assassination plots, but if he is, I do not wish Maria to be the revealing attempt.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think Averio's job right now is kind of like a balancing factor between a lot of the different religious people. Like,
so I
think he was given the charge of the Inquisition for a little while, but I think he realized he wasn't the best fit for it just because of his skills.
Right.
And went back to the Holy Knighthood with you. Especially when the war started. That's he just was like, okay, I need to be a Holy Knight again. So, but he's really been like he's Sergio's like most trusted advisor, basically. Even though even he these days can't really get through to Sergio. And so he's really been trying to balance all of the different religious hierarchies and help them work together and stuff. But so like I think that might work because Maria's doing the sort of stuff that he would want to be involved in anyway. So if you want him to guard her, I think that makes sense.
All right, cool. Yeah, because I wanted it to be somebody that obviously that I could trust, because
if anyone's a person you can trust, it's Averio. Like he has proven himself time and time again as like probably the most noble man in all of Ceran at this point.
Okay. So then he'll ask that one.
Cool. Yeah. So I think we can say that that'll be the case. But I think we want Jared. I don't know if you're there. You probably have your headphones on and can hear me. But I want to give you a chance to challenge Dellon to to meet up with Dellon and whatnot. Cool. There he is. So what does this look like, Alfons, when you find Dellon?
Are we currently like going up to find Dellon right now?
I would imagine, Cantarius and you guys will either show up during this or before or after or
that's
something.
What I thought.
Right?
I was like, we're kind of there. We should be there in a few minutes.
Yeah. Good.
Well, I guess it really depends on everyone's like timing on this, like how quickly after you're trying to grab Dellon.
I mean, basically, as soon as the thing's over, he's like making his way. He's trying to be stealthy, getting to him,
or inconspicuous. Yeah,
both.
Yeah. I'm trying to think
where
if it matters
is he
for
right
the role.
now?
I don't, probably not. Well, Dellon was just like staying on the dais, like talking to Averio while everybody's like filtering out.
Okay. I don't know if I want to cause a scene, but I also don't know if I care.
Yeah. I don't think there's anyone that it would matter necessarily.
Yeah.
So we can say Alphonse is attempting to be inconspicuous. Whether or not he succeeds doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you turn away from Averio, you see Alphonse.
Oh, okay. I was saying, I'm probably
you see a hooded figure.
Sure.
I would probably go, be on my way to go meet that official that Maria was talking about, but I get stopped by Alphonse. Okay. Yeah. And is Averio still nearby? I just turned around, or is he gone?
Probably we'll say for purposes of the scene, he's probably gone.
I was gonna say. All right. Where are we again? Are we in a building now?
In the cathedral.
We're in the cathedral.
We're on the dais.
So everybody's starting to filter out, and you're maybe probably on the back of the dais or just slightly off the dais or something, right?
I stop and I look at him and say, "It is impious to have one's head covered in the cathedral."
And you
I assume I don't recognize you, right?
And then Dellon kills him.
Yeah. I assume I can't see your face, right?
Yeah, he's making it. Yeah, but then you see armor underneath the.
Okay. I mean, your armor is super obnoxious. Do I recognize?
You
changed it though, right?
It's old and
remade.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of garbage now. It's lost the sheen.
Yeah, it's actual garbage now instead of just looking pretty and also the garbage. Great.
But,
all right.
And then like the scene in Star Wars where Obi-Wan Kenobi's clothes just fall to the ground. That happens.
Except you don't disappear. Oh, you do.
No, I do disappear. The armor and the cloak just clatter to the ground.
Okay, but you don't reappear anywhere.
Alphonse, make a roll for this. I assume you're teleporting away, right?
Yeah, I'm teleporting behind him to attack him.
Oh my gosh, to attack him in the cathedral?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Alphonse. Okay.
You said the kid. You said everyone important was gone.
I mean, more or less, but
Yeah, I don't care about who's left.
okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's do this, I guess. I'm thinking that the roll you're making here is
I'm basically just gonna use all of my magic to add to my sword. Essentially, is what I'm thinking.
well. So I think what you're doing is you're making a stealthy roll instead. Like you're using your spatial discipline to replace stealthy, to try to get like some advantage dice.
Also, unfortunately, you can't use your magic as helping for sword, or I would also do that. But
exactly.
you have to
That's
roll
why I'm
the
saying
magic.
you're making a link test.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm making
Make
3
a
linked tests into sword.
Okay, so
I don't know if you'll have time to
first.
make 3. They take time.
Yeah,
No.
you don't. Have
I did the other 2 before.
Dellon, do you have observation by chance?
I think I opened observation, but I don't know if I still have it because I think we were like, we were doing it wrong.
I think I changed it to.
I have assess. Is that what that is?
That's what I changed it to.
Okay.
Which one would you rather have? Assess or observation?
Know the difference.
So observation is finding like hidden and stealthy people. Assess is like investigating.
Oh, probably finding hidden and stealthy people. I don't know that I don't have any investigative skills.
That is fine. So yeah, go ahead and roll your observation, and that'll be the ob that he has to roll against for his stealth.
Do I have any forks into that?
I don't think so.
I have 9 disciplines wise, and he's teleporting.
Sure. Yeah. I'll give you that one because you're kind of reacting to magic. Yeah.
How about single combat wise? If he's trying to get behind me to fight me,
you can do that when you're actually fighting him. But
okay, sure. All right.
Yeah, just roll this as like graduated, and that'll set the ob.
Yeah.
3. Okay, 3. So Alfons, your final ob is gonna be 5 because stealthy gives an automatic +2 ob penalty when with this magic. It's one like you can use the skill to do it, but it's like harder than normal.
Gotcha. But I also have stealthy.
You do?
Yeah. And
you have stealthy as a skill.
If you were physically stealthing, then you wouldn't have a penalty. But you're trying to be dramatic, so.
Yeah, exactly. If you're teleporting yourself, then that's what you're doing.
Yeah, you're just using the skill or the magic.
If you want to sneak up
I was
on
going
him
to use.
Him.
I mean, I was using the magic ability, get a bonus dice.
Okay, you want to do? Okay,
this is just the way I was describing.
I see.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sorry, I didn't explain it very well.
Right.
What is it to get?
Ob 2 for 1,
2?
ob 3 for 2, ob 4 for 3.
I'll do ob +2 for the ob 3.
Okay.
So then my roll is not that's not relevant anymore, right?
And this is just for 1 test. Yeah, your roll is relevant. Okay, so I think it's just the ob 3 for the 2 dice. I don't think there's anything else happening here.
But could I fork in stealthy into this or no? Or inconspicuous because of the thing I did with the armor?
I think if you're trying to do like a stealthy, it'd be another linked test to get advantage.
No.
That's the only thing that would matter in this situation for stealthy.
I'll do a linked inconspicuous test.
I mean, you literally got my attention. I think that any actual stealth, I feel like it's out of the window here.
Well, the thing was to keep your attention on the armor though as it was falling. But
I think the only thing that's happening here is you're rolling for.
Okay,
that makes it simpler.
Okay, so that's spatial.
Yep. Because it's just for 1 test, and you're just doing it on yourself, right?
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, you're giving yourself advantage dice. Okay.
Yeah. I'll spend 1 persona. 3.
I remember thinking it was
nice.
Op 4 if I wanted to do that, and I can't remember why. I feel like there's an additional penalty for something. Oh no, it's just my magic. That's what it is. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing as how I didn't know how the magic worked beforehand, I was prepping in the booth with the continuous and essential discipline, doing the same thing essentially.
Oh, okay. So you just like getting yourself reared up for this. So, okay, that's fine. You can do the same thing with the same ob, right? Which is just those 2.
Mm-hmm. The essential discipline one I'm using is the named attack that you let me have open already.
So you can get an extra die for it. Yep.
Having it open is an extra die. Like I have the whatever 0 out of 6.
Yeah.
So then I get 2 extra dice because it's named and woven.
I think that's how we'll do it, because otherwise the +1 die bonus only happens for the first time, I guess, maybe. But that
I'm
seems
pretty
kinda
sure. Well, because
the idea is you name it or give it like a cool description, and I don't necessarily
I
want
remember
to...
it said that if basically naming it means that when you do it in the future you get +1, and so I guess woving it must be another +1. That makes
That's
sense.
what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah, it would be weird to only get it the first time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, two extra dice. Would you like to describe for us how you're doing all this? I mean, spatial discipline. Obviously, you got extra die.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's named too. I forgot to say the name. That should have been extra dice, but it didn't matter. But yeah. Oh no.
Force
this is his teleportation. He's gonna just continually teleport around him in between attacks.
Yeah.
So I do have a question. So are you
just such an anime thing?
You're just standing in the middle of the cathedral casting magic, and no one cares. I just want to check.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure they'll care afterwards, but
no, because this is before in the booth. You said you're just standing there casting magic.
He's just doing it on himself, though, right? He's like making himself glow and stuff.
Right. No one's like, oh, someone's casting magic.
I think so.
In my mind, it was a private booth because I'm the Pope's son and I have that power.
Well, you've been gone for like 3 years, though, so.
Yeah. I also don't know how subtle magic is. So
yeah, I think we'll say this. Alfons has revealed himself to all the nobility. They're gonna know that this weird guy exists and was doing weird things in the cathedral and attacked Dellon, and there's gonna be ramifications from it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I don't think necessarily they'd call the guards and arrest him or anything necessarily.
No, but I mean they don't know what he's doing. For all they know, he could be trying to burn something down or whatever. Yeah. This is why I'm just wondering why no one had any reaction. But go ahead.
I think people did, but not enough to that Alfons wouldn't be able to do this, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, the teleportation one. Yeah, what was our master's name?
Gale Viveris.
Yeah, Gale helped me name this one because when he teleports, a bunch of little pink light petals show up for
wonderful.
Take his place, and it's called the Lotus Dance.
Hey.
He helped because he's a weeb, if I remember correctly.
He is a weeb. So actually, here's a note about Gale. I think David, that would be fun. So typically in Ceran, because he's a Serrano, right? Yeah. Their last names are one syllable, and so but I think what Gale did is he did the Japanese thing of switching the order of your first and last name. And so he goes by Gale Viveris because that's how you would say it in Teconi.
Oh my gosh.
So Viveris is his first name, right?
Yeah, right.
Beautiful.
That's funny.
I'm the what's it called? The essential discipline I'm using, essentially just enhancing myself, is called Golden Embrace because I glow gold.
Yep.
Slightly.
Yep. Sounds good.
So,
are we doing bloody verses for this? Just out of curiosity.
I'd assume so. It'd just be we don't want to. We're already using it.
No, we're not doing a fight. I just didn't know if we were doing straight skill roll or if we were doing.
I feel like maybe we can just do one roll because it really just determines who bests the other. You're not trying to kill each other or anything.
Right. You just get a lot lot of benefits from armor and reflexes and stuff that you don't get.
I should have done the other. Plus 3.
I can give you some advantage dice, Dylan.
Thanks.
Okay, and then continuous discipline. This ability is basically just ATM, but it's called. He named it Sovereign Hour.
Nice. These are great names, Jared.
It's a last for an hour.
Boosting your stats by fighting 2 people fighting, or because Dellon is strong, you're just boosting your stats.
Yeah.
He's trying to get as many advantages as he can.
I'm going absolutely all out with everything I have for this.
Now
this is the most important role Alfons has ever made.
I try to decide whether or not I want to make. I'm hoping you roll really well, and I can just not take any bonuses and get my 1 difficult. I need to get to 10 sword, but I also don't want to lose, and I will lose if I do that. So
just barely with that one.
But you have great dice, though, David.
Well, yeah, but I'm
just saying, technically, a difficult for you is easier than a difficult for Alfons. So.
Well, right, but I have to. My goal, my difficult goal, is what he gets for successes. That has to be my dice pool to be difficult. So I would almost certainly fail. You're making link tests, right? And I think you have to get over to get dice. Isn't that right?
Oh.
Or no, you're casting a spell. This is
casting a spell, and that's...
Sorry, there's so many different ways to get +1 dice.
I know, yeah.
Okay, so these are all good. You have the +2 variation, so that's +6.
Okay, yeah.
So...
Yeah, because he's getting 2 dice for each of these.
That's
what he rolled. The 3
each level of that spell has
2.
Oh yeah, Caleb can explain.
I don't.
So
think
he was rolling
three
the
is plus one
advantage
die,
effect.
isn't it?
Nope. That was for the thing that Connor was doing. Advantage for he's that's ob penalty. Is ob 2 for 1, ob 3 for 2.
Well, that's what it was when I looked it up, because I also wanted to do this with my
So
thing.
I'm looking at it right now. It says advantage, plus 1, plus 2 die, ob 3. He's doing it on himself, so no additional casting cost, and he's doing it for 1 test, so it's no additional casting cost.
Oh, I was looking at it for a conflict, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, maybe that's
so.
Yeah. But it was also only plus. I thought it was plus 1 die. Whatever.
All right, so I'm at 6 right now. Sorry, this is gonna take a second because I have a lot of applicable stats now. All right, so 6.
Yeah, do you want to walk us through what you're forking?
Brawling.
Yep. His actual skill he got from being like a page in the knighthood at one point. He had like a 1 in it to start the campaign with.
Yep.
Funny.
I think the only time Alfons described using it was like he threw his shoe at someone.
I think when we were fighting the wizard, I like grabbed his leg, like held onto his leg.
Yeah.
David was stabbing him.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yep.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay. Noble wise, because David's a noble.
Mm-hmm. You know the particular noble fighting styles.
Yeah. Sword fighting style, or sorry, fighting style wise.
Fighting style wise. Yep.
Sword wise.
Mm-hmm.
Technique wise.
Mm-hmm.
Could I get 1 from either inconspicuous or stealthy with the armor thing I did? Like leaving the armor.
No,
that was the
that
magic
was the
thing.
that was the spatial discipline roll you made.
Okay. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, 11 advantage dice, and I'm going to spend 3 persona.
Okay.
All right, so that's
You changed your name to Alpones.
yeah. All right, so I'm rolling with 14 advantage.
Nice.
Whew. They are black dice though, so they're not going to be as effective as Dellon's.
I'm going to spend a deeds point.
Are you?
I don't have anything in sword, so I don't think I can.
Okay. I mean, you can. It's just
it would be.
You
a
can
waste.
do it. It's just they would be a waste. Yeah.
Yeah. You need that for Aristay or other stuff.
Mm.
Like
if you're planning on Aristaying something, you don't want to spend a deeds point as something you can't.
Yeah.
So just put the base obstacle as 0 then.
Yeah. Okay. I think Alphonse.
What?
Whoa!
Huh?
That was the most terrible roll Alphonse has probably ever done. You got a 4.
What?
4 successes, so many 2s, so many 3s, so many 1s.
That makes no sense.
How is that even possible?
I rolled
so
20
bad.
dice and I got 4. That's not even half.
All right,
even a
Dellon.
quarter.
All right, Dellon.
Can I spend a deeds point to re-roll?
You know what you actually can do, Alphonse? You can spend a deed point to make all your failures into successes. That is actually a thing you can do.
Wait, what?
Yep. I'll read it off. Yeah, is this important? Well, you can do it after the fact. So
don't do this for a fight against David.
This is like literally Alphonse's entire life. He's been like looked down upon by like everyone because he's not as good as Dellon.
All right, so I'll read it off just for your benefit, David. Here, a deeds point can be spent to re-roll all dice that failed to come up successes on. So it says specifically to come up successes on any given test. It's not just re-rolling them; it's like they become successes.
That's not a re-roll then, but okay.
Yeah.
All right, I didn't know that. That's cool.
I don't know if this is worth it or not. I'd have to get a 4th deeds point to white shade something. It's worth it. This has been like
have to use a deeds point because Alphonse would want you to. You can use a deeds point when
but Alphonse would put every single like ounce of effort he has into this.
Yeah, but a deeds point isn't his effort. It's no, it's meta. It's like in the meta world. Yeah,
I never thought of it like that.
You can do it however way you want, but technically you have control over this. You don't have to.
You don't.
But it's your decision.
I'm just saying it makes sense character wise.
Sure. Yep.
Sure.
I'm gonna
so
do
you can make your successes a 20 instead. Yep.
Let's go, David. I'm 20.
Okay. Well, hey, now I don't have to worry about. I can try my hardest and get my And get my difficult.
This is where David spends his teens point to, just so he.
I don't have a
He
teens
doesn't
point.
have an extra teens point.
You already spent it.
Yeah,
He spent the one he
time.
gained from on that white dice sword roll. All right, what are you adding up, Dellon?
All right, so I've got brawling, single combat wise.
Yep.
9 disciplines wise because he's using magic.
Yep.
Sword wise, armored wise because I'm wearing armor.
Yep. I'll give you another die for armor that you have on you.
I thought I counted 6 earlier.
I'm actually at 21 because I have a superior quality sword. Sorry.
It doesn't give you more dice.
I thought it gave you 1 dice.
Nope.
I will give him an advantage dice in this situation because I'm giving you advantage dice for your special things too, for like armor and whatnot. I think it makes sense. We're kind of doing like a slight, almost bloody versus but 1 roll, right?
Because there are 3 combat systems running off now.
Exactly.
Got 3.5.
So it would just become a success no matter what, Alfons. So you can make your successes 21 then.
2, 3.
This is so funny because like it's literally like the most anime thing that's ever happened on this show. Because Alfons has like powered himself up with all his Super Saiyan abilities, and then he appears out of nowhere, like teleports behind him, and then just starts like swinging so fast that like no one can see it, right? And Dellon's just like, and everyone's like in the chapels just starts panicking, and they start destroying things, and things start exploding.
I guess it is only 5. I thought I counted 6 earlier, and I must have counted sword or something. All right,
Does David ascend to sword god because he's going to level up to 10 after this?
Yeah, I made that joke too. I said I want sword to become my emotional attribute.
You go up to be with the great sword trainers in the sky.
Yep. I get 5. But then you said 1 from...
1 for armor. Is there any other special things you have?
I have 5 reflexes. What's your reflexes?
Sure. I don't think Alfons has that high reflexes.
All right. So we'll call it 2 more.
I'll look. Yeah, you have more than him, so you can get an extra die from that. Okay. You can spend persona if you'd like. They don't add to your. They don't make it less difficult to spend.
Right.
Them, so.
I'm at 16 dice right now. So I mean, even if I spend all my persona or the max I could, I'd only get to 19.
I mean, it's still with Gray Shaded and Fate, still very possible.
Yeah,
I think that would be amazing if Alphonse spent a D's point, got 21 successes, and you still beat him.
If he's gonna spend,
I fully expect it. I fully expect to lose this, but I had to go all out.
Spend 3 persona.
Do it.
And then
that hurts me so bad.
I mean, this is where I want to spend it anyways. I want to air stay on my sword.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
So I'm at
19 dice altogether.
That's what I had said. Yeah, 19. So I gotta actually like tell it that I have that many.
Now you just need to roll 4 too.
So I had 7 of those and 3 of those. Base obstacle is 21. Wait, no, I don't want it to be 21 because that's challenging.
It's challenging. I know.
Can I not make it? Can I not downgrade it?
I don't think so.
It's so dumb. It's too much good. It's too useful. I can't use it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Stupid. That's all right.
I mean, it's better than the routine you would have got.
Yeah. I wish I could have. I only need like 1 or 2 more dice to make it difficult.
Do we have any other arguments for Dellon? Any other special things he has?
Observation. If he's teleporting around, can I fork that in?
I think that works.
He gets to do observation. That means I get to add stealthy and inconspicuous.
Well, no, that's why I can add observation because you're being stealthy and inconspicuous.
But I didn't get to add that in.
You're not. Sorry, you're gonna be stealthy. You're teleporting.
Yeah.
Which is like a better version of stealth. Teleporting is just the best version of stealth.
I will allow it.
What are you allowing?
Observation.
Oh, but not stealthy or inconspicuous.
So wait, how to be difficult? How many do I need? Does it have to be the same?
No. So for again, as a you know what? You need too many dice to make it a difficult because
do I have to just equal it?
Artha doesn't count. Remember?
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it literally doesn't even have a metric to deal with this many dice. On the sheet here.
So that just means I get whatever I want, right?
No, because like I think it's like within 2 below. So if you get
Yeah, I'm only so without
19,
persona.
If you get 19 dice without persona, so if you get 3 more forks, including observation,
I think I have any reasonable.
Oh, you have intimidation. We've forked that in before. That's helpful in combat situation.
And I mean, if I could roll potential discipline, I could try and get 2 dice from that. But I don't think I have time for that, do I? I mean, I guess this is a whole fight.
Yeah, I think up to you, Jared. Would you allow that since you used a bunch of magic?
I don't think I can get it anyways. I think I'd have to get a 3. Well, I guess it's magic, so I could get it.
It is magic. Yep. And you have 9 disciplines wise.
But if I fail that, then my roll gets harder, right?
No, it would just be you lose access to your magic until you earn some Artha. That's the only thing that happens.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Magic. Right. Okay. Sorry, what was the question now?
Oh, if you want to try for 1 die on potential, sure. You would roll ob 2, an ob 2 test.
Okay, and I have 9 disciplines wise, so can I use that as a fork? Oh, okay, cool. Then maybe I can.
So you roll 3 dice against 2. It's possible, yes, open ended.
Can I fork in single combat wise since I'm using it in single combat? It's like how I'm applying it is in a fight.
The stuff I'll allow. I did relevant. So typically it's like more sorceress stuff,
like magical stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
But I guess the reason I'm thinking that is because like the whole point of the magic is that I'm using it to block weapons and like move their weapon. It's like I'm using it as an extension of my sword, basically. It's not a big deal.
I'll allow it. Let's do it.
Okay,
go for it.
That's basically the only thing I imagine he'll ever use this for. So.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want magic to be useless to you.
And the ob is 3 for me.
Yep.
Because it was 3 for him,
2.
wasn't it?
It's 2. Yeah.
Yeah, but I have a +1 ob because of my magic system. It's not good at this.
Is that the case?
Mm-hmm.
Let me check.
That hinder and that might have assist are on it, but they're +1. +1 ob.
Yep. So it's 3. Yep.
Okay. I got
so many dice. Yeah. Hey, nice.
So this means it'll be difficult now, right?
It is a difficult test.
Thank you.
Yeah,
all right.
Dellon.
There you go.
And now you're rolling 21 dice, I think, or 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20.
I had
20.
5
22.
forks plus reflexes plus armor. Oh no, 6 forks because you let me do observation. So
you have 10 forks and 3 Artha.
Yes. Yep. Thank you. 10 forks, 3 Artha. Okay. Sword.
21.
10 forks. This is ridiculous. 3 Artha. Base ob 21.
Yep.
All right, now I will use Nimble and reroll all of those fails. No. Wait, question. Do I have to do Fate first or Nimble? Do I reroll my failures? Or they're separate. They don't affect each other.
I'm sorry. I did the calculations wrong in this. It's 2 under.
Oh, it is.
The obstacle the obstacle has to be 2 under. I was doing it wrong in my head. Anything over is a challenging. It's just that if you get it on it, or if the obstacle is a couple lower than the dice you're rolling, that's.
But I rolled. Difficult. Oh, but Arthur.
I was doing it in reverse. Yeah,
that's so frustrating. All right, whatever. It's okay.
Well, you
still
got 15 successes, and you got a bunch of 6s.
At some point. They'll be hard. We'll just have to do this again sometime, Jared. All right. You just have to not use a deeds point, and then.
if you want to spend fate, you have 4 6s.
Right. So do I have to use fate before I use nimble?
I'm trying to remember.
Is there an order of operations? I mean, they say they affect different dice.
I don't think nimble can affect the dice you reroll.
Yes, I reroll. I don't think so either. So I should probably use nimble. No, because if I reroll with nimble and get more 6s.
First. Yeah, you need to do fate first. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That makes sense.
It's just, you do fate. Okay, it really doesn't matter the order of operations. We just need to remember which ones. Yeah. These are the final dice when considering whether or not you reroll them. If you roll them again, right? If you're rolling the 6s again. They're still 6. They're still 6s. Like the dice you roll after them aren't real dice for the purposes of re-rolling, right? Just because you re-roll a 6 and it gets a 3, it doesn't make that a failed dice now. That 3 that you rolled,
right?
Because it already got a 6. It's still a success.
Yeah. But it does matter because if I re-rolled all my dice and got more 6s, I'd have more fate to re-roll. My fate would re-roll more dice.
So we should
That's
do
why
fate
it
first.
matters.
Yeah, fate first.
Okay.
So if you want to spend 2 fate, David, you can roll 5.
Oh, I forgot
dice.
you have to do it at the same time. I mean, yeah, I'll do that. Why not?
Okay.
Actually, no. There's no reason for me to do that because I'm going to reroll all the failed dice in a second here.
Okay.
With nimble, so
Fair enough. Yep.
it would end up just being the same. I just
that's
waste
true.
another fate.
Yep.
So let me just record that. This, for not being a real fight, this is taking long enough to be a real fight. All right. So I'm rerolling 4 dice here. Right? Getting like 4 more dice, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Oof. It's a 6 though.
It is a 6. You can do that again. For further note, David, there's actually a D6 next to the fate stuff on the top that you can do this with. Yeah.
Okay, so I only got 1 from that, so I'm at 16.
Oof, yikes.
So now
you can reroll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or no, sorry, you're gratiated.
Hey, I wasn't gratiating my fate. So this was actually 3 successes.
Okay.
Oh, that's true.
Those rerolls.
Yeah, and okay, so you're at 18 now, and you can
Yes.
reroll 1, 2, 3, 4,
7,
5, 6, 7.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! No way!
You did it!
Oh,
You
darn.
beat him!
Dang it!
You know what? I actually kind of don't want to be. You spent a deeds point. That's not fair.
No,
we should just
no,
tie.
No, guys, no, it has to be this way because Alfons wants to beat Dellon so badly.
I know, but
Like,
you can't.
it has to.
I don't want to take this from Jared. He spent a deeds point.
No, it's fine.
No, Jared was expecting this to happen.
I was totally.
Well, that's just because he's a pessimist. It doesn't mean he wanted it to happen.
No. I love this because it still puts Alfons in his place, right? Like, I don't think we want to know the Alfons that has beaten Dellon in a sword fight.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Like,
That's a
this
good
is
point.
way
For
more
sure.
interesting.
Okay.
Okay, would you guys please describe for me the epic the most epic swords fight that's ever happened in this cathedral?
I mean,
And Cantarius, Theo, and Antonius, you guys are making your way through the crowd while this is happening. People started to panic and run away because they're like, "What is happening? Someone's attacking someone else."
Happening.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know the very first thing that happens is you teleport behind me and you go to stab me, and your sword hits air. Because I also succeeded in my
potential discipline
discipline thing.
So you shoved yourself off to the side with a potential discipline.
And when I turn around, I see that it's you, right? Because you don't have your cloak anymore.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I'm trying to figure out what a reaction is here. I mean, do I think you're trying to kill me?
Do you have a grin on your face, Alfons?
I might.
It's probably a determined. It's a determined look, but there is like a slight smirk to
it. Basically, my question is here:
He's coming at you with everything he has.
Yeah, which I mean, realistically means that if I slip up, you could easily kill me, even if you don't mean to, because that's how that works.
But he can also heal you. So, but
that's true.
That's true.
In his mind, the amount of damage he'd be able to do to you if he somehow won is something he could reverse with.
I am wearing armor, yeah. I guess I'm thinking for me, like, as far as I'm fighting, what am I trying to do to him?
Yeah.
If I succeeded, is my question.
So, right.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, you get to decide.
Determine your intent here. Is there something
you can probably tell I'm not like just trying to straight up murder you, but I am coming at you with everything.
Yeah, I would say like for the sake of this being the first session, we'll not have Dellon kill Alfons.
No, obviously I wasn't going to kill him, but I didn't know if I was going to wound him.
Yeah.
And then it would be over, or if I was going to like subdue him or whatever. I don't know. If,
I think we both rolled high enough that you could just decide what happened.
Okay. Yeah. I would say this many dice. I don't know if I can say that I subdue him. I didn't win by that much, but okay.
I'll say you have enough control over your own movements that you can you can do it if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, I mean, so I turn around and I'm like, Alfons, and then I assume you like do something else. You've got 3 magic spells going.
He just teleports like to you again. And like you feel like you feel a little bit sluggish as he uses time magic on you, and then just a combination of all 3 of the magics.
Yeah,
with the sword.
Yeah, I guess I'm just like, I mean, obviously I have no idea that you're this good, and I'm much better than you saw me last.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just like barely parrying everything, and then as we're fighting, I'm like, what is this? And like, if we break off. I'm like, I'm trying to gauge what's happening because I don't want to kill you, and I'm not going to die if I can help it. So, does he say anything?
No, he doesn't have like room for talking right now.
Yeah.
The second he like collided with you, he knew that there was something very different.
So then, yeah, I think at that point he's like, okay, I can't. Like, he's not going to talk to me. So yeah, he commits to then. I think, and then yeah, we just see. I mean, like, very quickly he gets, because I have 9 discipline wise enough that I guess I know like what teleporting does, and I know the thing that you do when you teleport. You go behind somebody. That's just the obvious move. So I'm like, every time you do that, I'm moving and adjusting. And but then every time I swing at you, you have ATM. So you're just like, I'm missing as you move.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I guess, how do you think it ends? Like, you get this magical flower petals falling everywhere. How does it end? Because I guess what is the last thing you try and do, and then I'll say what Dellon does. We'll see how it ends. Like, what's your attempt to finish it? I guess your deeds point moment. What was that? What did that look like?
Instead of teleporting behind you, he like teleports in front of you, like doing like a forward flip with the sword. And,
okay.
And in the anime version of this, you're like spinning like Sonic, right? Like
yeah, right. Yeah.
He's like there's no way I can beat him conventionally. I just have to like throw something wild at him.
So what you're saying is, you jump in the air and I'm below you, and you start to spin, and then I turn and cut your arm 2 legs off. No, I'm kidding.
You were the chosen one.
Yeah, I think when I'm also wearing plate armor, and I got a benefit for that. So I think what happens is he like
what he'd say forward. Is you underestimate my power. That's what he actually is kind of saying. He's like, you underestimate me.
Literally. So I lean into it, so your blade hits the back of my plate armor, and then I just like grab you and like throw you to the ground, and then I like trap your sword arm and put my sword up to your throat. Which, I mean, you could teleport, so I don't know why that stops you, but I mean, I guess technically it was for one test that you rolled. So I guess maybe at this point, like, you'd have to roll again or whatever. And so we can say maybe that's
your
why.
Juice runs out.
But
yeah.
So maybe I like push the sword out of your hand so that if you were to teleport, you wouldn't have a sword and it wouldn't matter. Because otherwise I don't think it would be.
And I think what we see is the sword
clatters.
Sword,
right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The sword clatters down the stairs of the dais, right?
Yeah.
And we follow, the shot follows the sword. And it falls on the ground, and then we pan up and we see Yuma, Cantarius, Antonius, and Theo all watching, and like the rest of the cathedral just been abandoned because everyone's like, what is happening? And then we just cut on the shot of like everyone like looking at each other, right? And who's the last person who says something to like close up?
That was 21 successes against 23 successes. That was the most insane sword fight that's ever happened.
Yep.
Anyways, yeah. So I mean, I guess what happens when I put my sword to your throat? What do you say?
I think he just laughs because he's incredulous. He's just incredulous. He's like, oh, come on.
Someone's got to say, well, what did we miss?
There you go.
Did Theo say that to end?
That's perfect. Yeah.
What did we miss?
Perfect. I think that's a perfect place to end it, and then we can pick up with the actual reunion next time and all that jazz. So cool.
Gosh.
Let's do. That was awesome. That's very fun.
It's insane.
And we'll do Artha and stuff, and then call it a session. Cool. Let's start with you, Cantarius. Anything you get? You obviously work towards your. Let's see. You got finding the cult, increasing your skill with the intellectual discipline. Both of those have been worked towards. Except did you increase it?
No, I didn't increase the intellectual discipline.
You increased sensory discipline. That's what it was.
Yes, but I did find the cult. I found the leader of the cult.
I think that counts. Yeah, as long as you're going to change that to something else more concrete related to them. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then what's your third one?
I mean, I guess I haven't technically reconnected with Dellon yet.
Yeah, that'll be for next time. Yeah. You didn't actually make a roll towards it. You just like walked up. So we can do that next time. So fate and persona for your beliefs.
Okay.
I don't think any of your instincts like got you into trouble. I mean, you seriously like blew it out of the water with the Ob 7 test to learn all the secrets at the beginning.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Did any of your traits come into play? And this doesn't even have to be like get you into trouble. It can also be like add to the story in like a fun, evocative way. I would think maybe second sight. I mean, you described some really cool stuff with all your second sight stuff. Cool. So fate there, I think.
Sweet. He also revealed every demon-possessed person that was important in the city, as far as I'm aware.
Was the Gandalf guy possessed too, or was that just another guy?
The Gandalf guy.
Oh, Elon.
Wait,
I don't think he. So that's your father. I don't.
No,
think he was there.
not him. His last name was like Gandalf something. He was the rotund guy.
Oh, Armando Cole.
Gandalf something? What?
Yeah, I don't know who he's talking about.
Oh. What was
maybe you're talking about one of the actors. Maybe one of their names sounded like it.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
We have to.
No, the actor's name is Gandolfini.
Gandolfini, yeah.
Okay.
When you said his name, I was like, well, I thought his name was long and weird. And then you were like, oh no, that was the actor. So yeah.
Yep.
I also remembered him by his weird Gandalf last name.
Cool. Yeah, I don't think any rest of the traits come for Cantarius. I want to play because it was mainly just the demon stuff that you're doing.
Yeah.
Dellon.
Yeah.
You tested your skill.
I tested Alphonse's skill to see if he's capable of defending himself, and he rolled 21 successes. So I think the answer is probably yes.
I'll give you a persona for that.
Sick. I'll just delete that now so I don't forget. All right. The new king is an ambitious man who wishes to restart this war. I will determine that the order can refuse a muster on doctrinal grounds, which I guess changed a little bit because that was my intention was to. I guess you said basically the answer is yes, but also
the answer is yes. I'll give you a fate for it.
Okay.
Because you did so the way that I want to make sure these beliefs work for like working on and completing them is like a cost has to have been paid, and because you have Averio as a relationship and you got him to make the roll towards this, I think that counts enough at least to give you a fate point, right? Like it mattered at least. I don't think you you didn't get a persona obviously because
I didn't get to help him.
It was a failure anyway, right? But
right. Well, but I mean, I did determine if the order can refuse a muster on doctrinal grounds. The answer is no, right? Technically,
yes, but I still like you didn't pay a cost towards it at all,
right?
The only person who made a roll.
My point is that now there's nothing more to do on this. I know the answer to my question.
Yes, I know. So I'm going to give you a fate point, and now we can rewrite it, right?
Sure.
Because you didn't actually complete it, but you worked towards it in a way. So fate point at least. It
I mean, I did complete it. I just didn't have to roll.
Yeah, I'm giving you the fate point for like it added to the story and made evocative stuff. Sure. So we'll give you a fate point there at least.
All right.
But you didn't get a chance to do on the stuff with Maria yet. So
no, I was thinking of changing that to, but I guess I didn't have to roll to persuade him to protect her either, so that wouldn't have helped either.
Yeah.
And then I believe in my life I shall hold the enemies of God at bay. I will determine if our new king is among them.
I don't really. Yeah, you'll have to like talk to him. Yeah.
Like I listened to his speech, but I didn't like.
Yep. I'll give you a fate point for do whatever it takes to win when something more important than myself is at stake. Proving yourself against Alphons is important. And you pulled out all the stops and you somehow, I mean, that's ridiculous that you somehow managed to make it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had to use quite literally every tool I have, including 3 persona. So
yeah. But it was still awesome.
Thank you. That was a crazy fight.
But I don't think any of your others.
No, I didn't get into trouble. Nothing bad happened to me. Because I won, so
I think that's it for you.
Yeah.
All right, Alphons.
All right. This is what I've been training for. I will test myself against Dellon.
You certainly did. You spent a deeds point on it.
Yeah, so I'd say persona, and we were writing that because that's over for now.
Yeah.
None of the other 2 came up.
Yeah, that was all Alphons was about this time.
Yeah. Always find a reason to use my powers. The belt incident.
I'll give you
a fate point for that. I think
if someone finds out that you tried to do that,
just in general, like you used a bunch of magic in the cathedral, a bunch of nobles saw you. I'm gonna have that come up later.
Yeah. And always try to surpass Dellon can be included with that last part.
Yeah, it's just one fate for like that whole situation. Yeah.
Okay. Rabble rouser. Haughty.
Yeah, I think you should get rabble rouser.
Okay.
For just making a huge dramatic scene in front of everyone, right?
Yeah.
Like Sergio's gonna be so mad at you. you did what in my cathedral?
Yeah. Literally, last time this happened, a huge war happened because of it. So someone jumped me.
But I think that's probably it. Is just the one fate from that for traits.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, we got Theo. I think the only thing you did was like work towards your faith.
Oh yeah, we got to see your old god's faith. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what about there are no gods, only demons? Because technically, I was helping Cantarius try to find.
I will.
who the
That's true.
demons
I will
were.
find a way to kill those who once wronged me.
I mean, you
I'm
found
down with
them.
that.
You helped them find
Yep.
them. Yeah.
So fate for both of those. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think that's probably it for you there. And then last but not least, we'll look at the like extra Artha stuff you can get. So does anyone have a in character game stopping humor moment? Like, do we all laugh at someone in character?
Alphonse pantsing the king.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fair enough. Okay.
That was
Fate
good.
for Jared there. Right skill, right time for having a skill to make the story go forward. I'm gonna give that one to Cantarius. Right.
Definitely.
Revealing all the secrets. I mean, not all the secrets, but at least like that was the major secret of the season was this guy's the demon lord.
Oh yeah. Now you're gonna have to come up with a new major reveal. Yeah.
So that's a fate point for you, Cantarius.
Thank you.
Embodiment for really good or distinctive role playing. Did anyone have a really good moment of like?
I think Jared deserves that for having spent a deeds point because he thought his character
that's true.
if he had access to fate point or deeds point.
I agree.
Can we
persona
do
for you then?
more than one of those? Because I also feel like Cantarius' description of the shadow cloud thing was. I mean, I know we already did something for that, but like that was.
No, I think
set a
persona
scene
makes
for a
sense.
lot of stuff.
Cantarius's like whole setup for all this has been really, really cool. So yeah, persona for you, Cantarius.
Nice.
Mold breaker for going beyond the bounds of character and like working against beliefs and instincts. I don't think there was anything like that this time. Everyone was kind of working towards their stuff.
I think so.
And I think that is it.
I didn't kill someone who was trying to fight me. Does that count?
Yeah, but in Alphons, you had a belief that was testing Alphons.
Yeah,
so
right. That was me knowing that he wasn't trying to kill me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fair.
Cool. I should have kept the cloak on, then you would have gotten it.
Then you would have been dead.
But I'd also be dead.
Yeah, I would have 100% killed you. Yeah.
Died.
I'd have been like, there's no way someone this dangerous survives unless I know them and like them. If I can kill them, maybe.
All right, awesome. Well, that's been Crow Inquisitors. This is our season premiere. I think it was a fun season premiere. Obviously, it was a little bit of a shorter episode, but I think it was a great setup for everything that's going to be happening in this season.
There was a lot of cool stuff there.
Yeah. And then, I mean, you're all reuniting, right? So you can all have a chat about everything that's going to happen next. I'm excited. There's going to be a lot of politicking and demon hunting and all that jazz when we return to Crow Inquisitors. I think the schedule is going to be like every other week. We're going to do it on these Saturday mornings. Next week, just for everybody's for like David's and Jared's benefit, I'm not going to be free. We're going on a camping trip. But moving forward, Saturday should be free on the off weeks to do something else besides Crow Inquisitors as well.
Okay.
So,
are you interested in doing the Tears of Skovrain thing?
I was going to say Tears of Skovrain sounds awesome to me. As long as Jared's free, that seems like a good fallback.
Awesome.
Right. Sounds good. So we'll have more Burning Wheel and Bonds to come on the channel at this time slot. But for now, we'll go ahead and call it a wrap. Adios.
Ooh, see you.